Yo, been fasted. No, just kidding.
That's what we do is we get it. I mean, we get lots of things. We're $3 in right now on Apple. We're 10 cents in on our SoFi position that we still have from the damn beginning. And we've reversed into a long now on the futures as that continues to go up. We were short, breaks, reversing along the same thing we did yesterday. Put that one back there on the board. So look at this SoFi trade. Come on, SoFi. Really? All the way back to where we've broken before. Welcome, everybody, to the closing show right now. Look, it's going to be an interesting afternoon, I feel like. Market trying to get back there to the upside. We have Tesla moving around. We have Uber, which is another name that obviously I'm in. We've talked about that, taking that $80 level long. We can look at Uber, SoFi trying to run around, and then NVIDIA right now trying to go back up to the upside as well, looking to break the day's high of 144 now as well. So there'll be penny stocks. There'll be Donald J. Trump to talk about. There'll be, what's up, Joe? Cool. That's why these guys are dressed up. They're all going out for Ramin's birthday afterwards.
Exactly.
That's
out
what it was.
Town.
I promise not to say Ram, because I feel like we've heard about 1,400 Rams today, but it is her birthday. So happy birthday, Ramin. And we will try to temporarily ban after today Ram. No, just joking. You guys can do it on the midday show because without that, there would be no conversation.
And what a kind person that on their birthday
exactly
gifts all of us these delicious treats, and look, I don't know what kind of chocolates these are because it just says Jules specifically, but I've had at least 3 of them. I've had purple and red. And, red twice because that's what Ramin said was the best, and they're absolutely delicious. But the market...
The red has the wafer.
Well, the market's not red. So while the red might be the most delicious, and it's hazelnut, thank you very much, Ramin.
It is.
No, the market is all green right now. So you're looking essentially to break out Friday highs. I don't know, how's about nowish? You're on Friday's high as we speak. Once you get past this, the NASDAQ, you're not talking about all-time highs with the NASDAQ. With the ES, you always are. But the NASDAQ's tops are coming in at about 50 to 100 points. It does look like here. So only 1/3% to the upside, but you got to put it in context. We were looking at close to 1% down this morning, right? So from bottom to top is what we care about here. The gain from the bottom of the market, spectacular. I heard someone say that Amazon isn't a thing. I don't know. Amazon's great. I love Amazon. We use Amazon all the time. But Amazon went right into, and we'll get to all the different levels before, but Amazon did not give that automatic dip into 186 like it's been doing every single day except for today into 187. So you got to find a place to join the trend. We're talking about this right before we came, before we ended the morning show. Was looking for the dip into prior high, That was okay. It stopped. But then it had this trend. So where it stopped here, connected the trend lines. That means if you like the long, reverse the trend, go back into the trend. It dips right back into the prior trend line, and now you're taking out highs. So Amazon continues to run with the rest of the market. DJT is going up, and I have some left of Funware, but
market be ripping.
Essentially, it held $12 on Fun, and even this one wants to go higher. I chuckle because it's actually up 50%. Funware and DJT still going, but everything is going to the upside. I do believe Sharif is ready. Let's see what everyone wants to talk about over at the big board.
Welcome everyone to the afternoon rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean, as you saw, locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So join us during the midday show and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers, but only the top 5 make it on, guys. Here's a look at the triple Qs up 1/3%. We went red to green. We were near lows most of the afternoon, and then we got that sudden surge in buying. Now the Dow is green. The ES is green. The NASDAQ is green. The only index left in Redville is the Russell 2000, down about 1/3% last time I looked. The first ticker, though, as decided by you guys, the one everyone is waiting for tomorrow because they do report after the bell, TSLA, down today about 1/3%, but off the lows. Couple of headlines today with respect to Tesla. Looks like they're cutting about $4,000 off the rear-wheel drive Model Y and Model 3 that is in the U.S. We know that the new Model Y possibly coming out next year, codenamed Juniper. This is the headline for the list of promises that shareholders want to hear answers to tomorrow on the earnings call. We're going to have that with you guys on the Market Recap show tomorrow.
All right.
The list of answers that they want.
That's right.
I mean, how about this? the only EV company in North America making money selling their vehicles. That's not bad. I mean, what are we asking for here? I think you're asking, well, I know what we're asking for. We're asking for a cheaper model. You know, we want to see when that's going to come out when it comes to Tesla. We want to see what's the timeline for all that fantastic, you know, like the Optimus. What's the timeline for the van? What's the timeline for that robo-taxi or the cyber taxi? Like, when are we going to get some of these things in a more concrete sense? The promises are great. Look, Tesla's not going anywhere. I think they're absolutely fine. But the story here is it's not really a V-shaped recovery because I don't know that it was ever really that crazy to the downside on Tesla. It was more like controlled chaos down and then a little bit more uncontrolled chaos to the upside. Still has yet to make any real test of 220 to 222, where I think the resistance is going to come in. But I like the fact that got off the schneid here. It hasn't gone green yet because it gapped down pretty heavily. But morning highs, about 217.80 in here. You've got like a triple top in the morning that it put in. Nice little base if it can put it in on Tesla. Good trend reversion trade here on TSLA. On the pullback, can it hold on to the prior morning highs? I think is going to be the concern. And if you look at it on the daily, yet another day of, I think, just consolidation going into the earnings. So I never really thought it was going to break out of this range before the report. Obviously, it's going to break this range after they report after market tomorrow.
All right, just taking out 60-plus handles right now on the futures as we get lighter and lighter on that one. Good move up there. We got some out at 76. I mean, we'll take that. Look at the futures right here on the daily chart. We are getting close to those highs again here on the NASDAQ, so we're going to watch out for that. Weekly highs coming into play, so let's get out of it. 76.90 would sort of be, I'm going to get out of another piece right now. We just actually punched some 83s there. All right, look, for me, Tesla's a no-go. Even maybe tomorrow, we'll see what it comes out with. I think it's going higher. I mean, that would be my prediction for tomorrow, would be higher than where we are right now. I think Elon Musk is going to sort of calm the waters there, give everybody what they need to hear, and the rest is going to be history. So for me, I'm not going to trade it heading one day before earnings. So that's my take on Tesla. I want to be long into it if I had a choice, but trading earnings, unless you know something, is too tough. So I would say watch out. There's a shelf to the downside as well, right? So that 225 needs to break, and when it does, then I think we're on our way to 240, 250. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 240, 245 spot tomorrow, which is at least 10% higher from here.
SMCI didn't have a specific catalyst today, but I did see some unusual options activity this time to the put side. And as you saw, I mean, we had a very aggressive sell. Looked like institutional selling. They're finding a bit of a bottom off the lows, guys. No specific catalyst, but down 3.85 still.
Trying to figure out why it's, you know, relatively weak, again, without a story. It's hard to say, and you can play the guessing game all you want, but the truth of the matter is, like, there isn't an obvious story here. AMD was relatively weak, and ultimately, it doesn't really matter. I think the 50 period is, like, the 50 period is where it's hugging, and it might just be like it rejected the 50 period on the daily here on SMCI. So there's a couple of days above. I think you had a consolidation. We lost it, and there was just more selling underneath that 50 SMA. It happens to be at 48 bucks there. So SMCI down 4 points on a day where the market has done everything right. Like, there's that essentially like 48 level. The 50 period moving average is right here. That's where you closed. I feel like the second it lost that, probably just so much weakness on it and so much selling underneath that 50 period. It's probably a technical breakdown or something like that on SMCI. So I'd put this one into the penalty box until it can get back above that prior high, make another challenge, that 50 SMA. I think the good thing is if it goes all the way back up, it's going to take a minor miracle here at that point and can then break out the high. That would be a good looking break, so long as you can end the day back above that prior support at 47 even. Till then, I think it's a short back into that prior high. The relative weakness is obvious with SMCI, and they aren't the only one. Like, why you can't crap on SMCI. AMD's down 2.5%. It's under yesterday's lows, so it's in that bucket as well. Intel is in this bucket. At least last I checked. Okay, you know what? Intel's only down 1.7. It was down over 2 points as well, but a bit of a bounce there. But there are a few chip names that are under a lot of pressure today. SMCI just happens to be the worst of them, it looks like.
I was like, I keep on saying hold, don't trade NVIDIA, but like I'm thinking about right now, maybe getting something out on NVIDIA. TQs did having a pull back in, but we took some out at the top there. We have a very small piece left on this one. We do have a fire alarm test happening in the building right now. All right, SMCI. So look, I mean, ever since the split over, I mean, it's been fine, but it really hasn't done anything. We're still waiting for it to break that $50 level. Oh yeah, that's right. Our charts aren't going to show much to do about nothing. So there it is right there. So there's the split down into $40. It does make that nice run up. I mean, we all saw SMCI. We talked about it numerous times here about what it was doing, and it could not break through 50. Now you're making the move all the way back down. I know this is well zoomed in, but you break through that $44, $45 level. This is looking like a ledge, to say the least, right here. If we can go a little bit lower on that one, breaking through this 44, 45 or so on SMCI, down 5%. There's only one to rule them all. It's NVIDIA. If you're in anything else, I'm sorry about that. I wouldn't be. Over to you, Sharif.
Coinbase having a tough day, Sean. Almost 2% in the negative coming into the lows right now. This is circulating online. Isla allegedly leaked data of Coinbase. This is being circulated by the dark web informer. Not sure what to make of this, but the market's selling off here. Crypto started off strong, sold off though, guys, during the day.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like, it all started this weekend when you didn't get the break of 70,000. Like, you got to press into 69.5, and then everything got given up. Like, this line is basically, if you connect all the highs from the all-time high in the daily chart on Bitcoin to the lower highs after the fact, this is the false breakout you get. When we're saying 66.6, 66.7 has been support there on BTC. So there was a bounce early. And since then, like, there's your bounce early in the morning, false break at the bottom on coin, goes right into the afternoon high, and you just kind of flat bottom. It's not really a flat bottom. You just broke support in here, probably headed right back into that 208. I was looking directly at IBIT for, like, the plan of action, which it always matters. Like, what's the way that you want to execute in? 38 was support. But down in here, the last time it checked the level, you were underneath it, breaking 38 even on IBIT to get to like 37.90 or so. And you remember, like, it's Bitcoin that you're tracking it off of. Like, round numbers don't necessarily mean anything on IBIT. It's more the price area. So when I got in front end, which is what you do if you just care about the support level, it bounced off 38 twice. It's like, okay, we let it bounce off 38. But that's not really the idea. The level, when you correspond to Bitcoin, was underneath at 37.90. So get stopped out under the low. It then holds 37.90. You get the long back up, and then this was able to work into the pre-market highs. Now, oddly enough, you're seeing a much better fate here for IBIT holding above VWAP than what we're seeing with Coinbase. So Coin is mentioned having a few issues of its own. Any loss of VWAP, I think, in BTC and Bitcoin, or just further drop of support, and I think you are headed back down to that morning low on Coinbase. And it looks like that just trailed out on Amazon into prior highs. So Amazon's starting to roll back over. The market's starting to come back into that 2050 level. We'll look at VWAP here for this one. 190 probably, I mean, 190 was a resistance level before, so 190 or VWAP are going to be the reentry spots to look for in Amazon. Really only traded it off the 190.5 for now as the market pulling back a little bit, but they're still green overall.
All right, let's, we could go over, I mean, Bitcoin right now, 67.3. We'll have a look at that. We'll look at some altcoins in a bit. Let's go talk about Apple.
Yeah, there's a couple of headlines today, Sean. One we got from Verizon this morning when they reported earnings. Apparently the iPhone 16 wasn't being bought quite as aggressively from their end as we had heard from some other carriers. There was also this headline today: iPhone 16 discounts roll out on Alibaba's Tmall, being blamed here for AI delays as well as domestic competition, most notably from Huawei, guys. So Apple down 0.5%.
Huawei. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, Huawei. Again, it's funny how the Chinese will support their companies hand over fist, and the U.S. government will just look for ways to bring our companies down. Imagine if Apple got the same support from their government. Apple already pays the most amount of taxes in the U.S. government to the U.S. government, period, and yet they keep on getting harassed. All right, right here, it is your number one trade. It is money time. Shout out to Money Mitch, who was on this morning as well, and shout out to everybody that has the number one point here for today's trade on Apple. 233 long. We'll wait to figure out what's going on here with that move down inside. Good luck, we say here, as Apple continues to go to the upside. So what did we do with Apple? Well, we just sat there and did exactly what we said we would do. And that is that put on, like I said, the biggest position here today, 50x probably, and nice move to the upside. Right up into 236. We're still in this name, but very, very small, obviously. As it was ripping up, we were thrilled to death to get some of these prices that we got here on the shares that we had. So Apple continues to work. We had the trade of the day yesterday with NVIDIA, and it's right here again with Apple today. So there it goes. The biggest trade on the board today, Apple. And part of the plan, it came right into 233. I know we said earlier in the morning that there was really no definitive levels, and we talked about that, but we sort of just zoomed in here. And I remember going over this and sort of saying that right into here, 233 is something that we liked to try. So we did that. It does go into 232.50. We didn't get out. It only went to 232.66. Our long is 232.65. So we just believed in it. We bought the hype. We bought the dip. And now we get to observe this move to the upside. Like I said, this is P&L number one by XXXX amounts today. It's Apple. It's fantastic. Yeah, so great trading over there. SoFi, Apple, TQQ is the only names I'm in.
Yeah, it was a great trading in Apple. And the best thing about it, too, is, you know, it showed you this level last week. And ultimately, I think we're going to break the top. But the frustration was that we never got the top break, that 37.50. But we want to see if 233 can hold after the run to the top. And again, it's not like it was, like there's no big obvious support level at 33. It's just this is where it bounced yesterday. Then it couldn't get above it last week. And then you had, like, look at the drop of support there. Then you had a bottoming off that 33. So it was more like this price area that came in, as opposed to, oh, there is a clear space where you can see it being bought over and over and over again on a support level. What I actually find interesting on this move is I left the trend that got me out of it earlier up, and then oddly enough, sometimes you do this, you connect it, and then the trend ends up the trend high. Not that I would have shorted the stock, but I wasn't happy with my execution on the front end of this one because there it's still dropping in off of the open. It ends up being the same area price, but ideally fill here, not there, and fill here, not there. Like they both ended up being in the right spot because it holds trend, but ideally, like when you're getting that confirmation of the higher low, like you want to be buying it after confirmation instead of in front. But it's interesting that it ends up holding on to that trend line top and reversing. If it can get back above that, I think you have explosion to 237.5, which is a double top. I know it didn't really get there in the open market, but this is where you're headed to. So double top recently, double top on the daily. Pretty much just a matter of time before we get that breakout. It's going to be a popular one, obviously. The only day that I have a concern about that breakout is breakouts through obvious round levels on Fridays have not been very good. It just limits the move recently. So hopefully we get that break before Friday.
The SPY, the last on the list here, guys, trying to hold on barely into green, up 0.04. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about from the macro perspective today, but gold continues to make all-time highs. The 10-year, though, the 10-year yield up above now 4.2% as yields continue to bounce from the lows that they put in September and late August, guys. Trying to hold on to green right now, though.
Shout out to Penguin Dynasty there. He caught that short in the market. Great job on that. I mean, that's where we basically emptied out the clip here on the NASDAQ. I mean, so the SPY, we could talk about financials. We could talk about a lot of these different things coming through. So I'll leave the SPY to Neil. But for me right now, NASDAQ. NASDAQ's all that I really look at. So again, we talked about this earlier today. We called that bottom, and we basically just right now kind of called that top. I mean, we looked at this exact thing earlier this morning. So shout out to the real traders out there that are here trading futures. You know, good move there. Good move to the bottom. Basically, you went top to bottom here today. So it was kind of a, easy one if you are looking a little bit broader on that. So we'll wait to see here where the futures wind up going. But you know, we didn't get out of enough at the very top. So we're going to get some out right now at 50s, just taking like basically that 30 handles. Now it's only 20 handles, but we'll wait to see what winds up happening here with the futures. Hopefully back upside. I mean, if we can get some dip buys into VWAP, great. Into the 200, great. I'm not sure we'll do too much with the 50 period moving average. We'll wait to see if we can get something down here at 74.50. But again, for me, it's support and resistance, and it's futures, and it's relative strength and weakness. So I don't know, man. My best trade's on Apple today, which kind of goes against all of that. So we'll wait to see what happens here with the futures. Still problems in the Middle East, and just hearing some news about that as well. So we'll wait to see if there is any sort of development here. But hey, above the 50, above VWAP, and your boy is in this one. It is the TQQs.
Yeah, well above the 50. On the daily chart, SPY's allergic to the 50 at this point. We talk about the difference between the SPY and the NASDAQ. NASDAQ not even at the all-time highs. SPY essentially making another test of said high. You're essentially consolidating, but what I like about the weekly chart here on the SPY is, you know, it's wrapping up for this nice little, okay, for now, we're going to have a nice little condensed candle up at the top, but it's a nice consolidation above the prior high. So you've essentially broken out, and then you're consolidating off that high. It's what you'd like to see. Like, pullbacks are not making it through prior highs on the weekly. In terms of the day, you got essentially to yesterday's tops and have already pulled back. Now, that looks like a reversal candle on the SPY, but I think we'll see how it resolves because the trend was so strong that red to green, I think, is going to matter on that NASDAQ. ES closed right here. So right now, you're dead flat at 55.83 and a half or so. So you are at that midpoint right now. I think that's going to be a key one. If we can stay green, a retest of the high makes a lot of sense to me. The name I'm going to be looking to get back into is going to be Amazon. First look, prior highs are trying to hold right now, 190 and a half into 190.75, which is where it's trying to go. I'd like to see something of a rounded bottom to give me an entry, like, you know, confirmation, double bottom, hold. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Another rounded bottom, hold the higher low. There won't be any kind of trend break because the trend break was probably to the downside there. But looking for a rounded bottom on Amazon. If futures are going to make that bounce, then I want to see if we can get something to the upside. Just going to double check DJT because it must be coming. Yeah, DJT just did a bounce into VWAP, a fall into VWAP. It's bouncing off of VWAP, I should say, just to be a little bit more correct. I was in this for a break of that long. 34.30 was like a double top in here, and I think it's on the daily. Can we show? Yeah, like it was like a little bit of a daily, but it just immediately failed. So guys, like 20 cents from that double top break on the daily, and then it lost the trend almost instantly on DJT. I went over to Funware at the moment because we actually have free locates on Funware. So when that lost the breakout, I essentially just shorted Funware on its break of the prior high, gave it to the local stop at 13 even, and now it's trying to get to VWAP. This couldn't get all the way to VWAP on Funware. If it does this time, I'm just going to trail it to this prior low, which is 12.10. So the idea was going to be wherever, if you failed trend on DJT, short Funware in that moment, and then play it back into VWAP. So that was a plan of action all morning long. And the other thing is you don't have to pay for locates on it, and it was more of a sympathy play. Ultimately, this stock could easily have more to go in either direction. Who knows? This only started going a couple of weeks ago, and it's just a squeeze play. You know, everybody, fundamentally speaking, doesn't matter one way or the other. Now, you can say whatever you want about this fundamentally. Truth of the matter is, it went from $3 to 13 bucks. You know, so you can think it deserved to or not, still happened regardless. You know, you put it into the bucket of the GameStops or whatever you like. I think it's different from the nuclear names, because while those have been going a little bit parabolic, I think there's a little bit of something more fundamental that works with your NNEs of the world and our Oklos of the world. I think they're going to find a better base. But for now, Funware and DJT, they're in play.
Yeah, you see this real cool hat I have on here is a Trade the Pool hat. And the thing is, we are thrilled to announce Trader TV Live and Trade the Pool's huge giveaway. Today, 7 traders will win 20,000 buying power to trade with. This is your opportunity to start trading and getting involved, funded today with Trade the Pool for free. The registration runs from the 21st, yesterday, to October 25th. That's your last chance. And the winners will be announced on October the 29th. Don't miss your chance to get funded. Trade the Pool is a prop trading firm that funds stock traders through a unique evaluation model. The firm allows traders to trade over 12,000 stocks and ETFs, including penny stocks, with the freedom to trade during pre-market or after hours if you're brave, and bypass the PDT rule. I would not recommend trading after hours. Traders who pass the evaluation receive funds and share the profits with the company. Join now for free. The link is in the description. Let's get ready to stock and roll with Trader TV Live and Trade the Pool. It's right there. It's on your screen. Scan it. Get that link in description. Win one of those $20,000 funded accounts. The 25th is the last time you have to register to qualify for said account. Why, thank you. SoFi 1050 right now. I was looking for like a sleepy one, but if you do too much of this, not that I would know, but maybe you would become a little bit sleepy. And I think right now, Anthony Noto, and this is just a joke. I don't know what's happening right now, but it seems like SoFi is a little sleepy here. So we'll find out what's going on with them. They just did break 52-week highs today, and that's about as high as it got, as it stood there. I'm talking like that because we had some companies today like weed.to, of course. Oh, here, you guys better know it as CGC. No, is it weed? It is weed, right? It's weed in the United States.
It's weed in Toronto, isn't it?
It's. I thought it was CGC. Hold on a minute. What is Canopy? Okay. Well, anyways, Tilray. I'll find it out. I just typed in CJC.
But you know what the problem is? It's
Why
NASDAQ.
did nothing? I know, but I literally watched CGC. Oh, now it's there. It wasn't there before.
No, my drop downs have been a little.
Unless was I doing CJC? I don't know. But anyways, I was saying CGC. But there it is. Nice upside moving to 530. I know Sharif was looking for answers in this one, and I don't know if he got them. I don't know if Adara was able to find anything. But again, we talked about why this would possibly move, right? These are election. It could have been anything, and it was probably either Kamala or one of the VPs or Trump, or I'm not sure who it was that might have said something that might have sparked this. It could have also been, there's the FDA, they're trying to get it from schedule, what's the worst one? 1 to 3 or the other way around, and trying to get it a little worse or better, for the population there on the federal level. So we'll see if that can go. I mean, obviously, once the big announcement is made, I think CGC at that point, if and when that ever happens, maybe we do get back to some of these levels. But again, a pretty depressed name that has been split and all that stuff. Our charts do not show it justice enough there. But CGC moving around, the more stable one that tends to be a little more stable, that won't have sort of the push and pull as much here, is Tilray, but still a nice little bottom made there today up at 150. And the thing about it is, again, you just look back. When I look at this, I think maybe it could have been a technical move, just helped by technical moves. We're already at the bottom there. Is all the bad news baked in right there? But other than that, I'm not sure. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I love Adara. Adara's going to be back on the afternoon show here, but the original pun, we've been doing puns here for how long have we been going? 4 or 5 years right there. And sometimes they just come pretty easily. There's the baked in one right there. Yeah. We'll be having Adara on tonight. Brian Shannon is away at a conference. So it'll be Adara and I. We'll talk about some earnings. We'll look at some earnings plays coming up here in a couple minutes. Yeah, it always sucks when we miss Brian, but Brian is a great guest, of course, and he will be on with me next week again. And maybe we'll bring him in later on this week, maybe Friday or something. I'll see if he can make it up to me. Yomi won Alpha Trends. All right, so that's about that. We're not doing too much else. We're waiting for Apple. Look, I mean, I now have an offer into this area, 60s for Apple. Hopefully we can get back up there. This is a $2.70 winner right now as we hold on for Apple, and it continues to go on. What I'm trying to do here is, we do have a smaller piece on for this, but what I'm trying to do is just train myself to get better. train myself to hold things for longer, train myself to use more shares. We've been doing that, and that's the whole thing here. Obviously, we're authorized and funded to trade pretty much an unlimited amount of shares. And my shutdown will justify that. So I'm going to wait for the best times to put on the shares, but boy, oh boy, did we put one on down here on Apple. And I feel like I did a good job explaining to you that we did have a big position there in Apple. So I'm pretty proud of the way that one worked out there today, as it will carry the whole day here. So we'll wait for the end of that one. Yeah, we can always look at SMCI. We'll look at a few different.
Yeah, SMCI is a bit of a dog, but there was on the marijuana story. There was a few tweets that posts I should say on X that from some random accounts, essentially talking about like a final ruling expected to be published in the Federal Register within 60 days of a hearing, which would have like a law change coming 30 days after that, putting marijuana on track to be rescheduled sometime between January and March of 2025. So that's what was going around. I mean, essentially, so whether or not that's what caused the move, I mean, obviously you're going to get squeeze potential with all of those. So it ends up being a bit of a snowball effect. We're going to quickly to Dara, but you'll see I am out of Funware. DJT had bounced off of VWAP, so with the sympathy trade, DJT bouncing off VWAP, so out of the Funware, and DJT made that bounce. So there is a bit of a bottoming tail candle, and then right back up. Like essentially went to 33 and then bounced into 33.6. So if that's the reason to be in, was DJT going back down, then that kind of a bounce off of VWAP for Funware, to me, is a reason to get out on this consolidation. Maybe it goes lower, but again, like the only reason to be in that trade on a mean reversion was DJT losing that breakout on the daily chart. So my focus now is going to be, can Amazon catch a higher low bid, or do we have to wait for, as I said, 190 or VWAP? The answer is looking like lower. It's about to lose consolidation again on Amazon, which the market's, like the ES is still holding pretty much flat on the day, like that 0.00 whatever, 1 or 2. That's about it. I did jump out of the silver trade. Silver is still going, and I feel every single day that SLV continues this breakout, that the better chance has been not to try to join it when it's breaking the highs, but I think trying to catch the dip on silver. You don't really need these trend lines in there anymore, but it's that dip trade that was really good, like dip into prior support. Let me get rid of all of these because I had one from yesterday. The trend reversal was the play on silver to catch the dip trade, which is a lot better. But I think as long as it keeps on making fresh highs, gold keeps going, silver keeps going, the dip into prior high trade is certainly a good look here, as opposed to, once it has the trend, try and get the breakout trade on it. By that time of day, it's usually slowing down. But silver's on a run on the daily chart. I mean, it's a blue sky setup for silver. I'm missing some data there, but fresh highs on SLV. You can probably look at PASS as well. If there's anything you guys are looking at that's making some moves, let us know. GT Southpaw saying ALLR is making a comeback. Don't really know that one, but yeah, it looks like one of those low float runners that did a reverse split and is trying to make a bit of a bottom here. I'd say it hasn't necessarily made a convincing one yet, down 6%, but let's go to Adara and see what's at the desk.
In case you missed the midday session, lots moving. We had not one but two catalysts for Spotify. Initially, Axios reporting that this one is entering an ad exchange with TTD, the trade desk. Then we also had reports that Donald Trump is going to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, so SPOT on watch. Generally, though, it's pretty interesting. The S&P 500 is still holding up this support around that 581 level and finding some resistance at 584. We had a wick above this level on the 15-minute chart before pulling back and continuing to reject. And we've seen some other rejections here. So we'll have to see what this buy does. But it looks like we're consolidating at a pretty interesting level. Gold making new all-time highs. We had Bitcoin still on watch near the 67,000 area. And also lots of strength continuing in these mega caps. Meta had a nice move up at the end of the midday. And MSFT still up over 2.5%. We had tons of these small cap movers, as was just mentioned in the big desk. A lot of cannabis-related names were strong. We had a lot of strength as well in VinFast making a midday pop. But Joby, one of these other eVTOL-related names, stronger after the FAA, the Federal Aviation Authority, issued its final rule for power lift aircrafts, which basically will, quote, pave a new way for air taxi and advanced air mobility and can allow these vehicles to be safely integrated into U.S. airspace. So good look here for JOBY, some of these other eVTOLs, and interesting look for sure for the market during that midday session, guys.
Thank you, Adara, for that one. All right, so just a quick one here. I am short, new position. SMCI, I mean, it's underneath VWAP here. This is, for me, it's just a, you know, it's a little light right now in the day, right? And so, and I don't mean light, like I'm saying, the market's not doing much right now. We're underneath the 50-period moving average. We have an opportunity here to take, hopefully, a much bigger winner than a loser. And that's all that we have to do, especially like we keep saying, when you're trading shares and you have some plan of action, you have to also have your out. And right there, so VWAP, this will give me about 20 cents worth of room. That VWAP's at 10. We'll get out if it breaks above that. And then that will be that. It's absorbed it. I mean, the last time we had that move, that was 07s down to 75. So that's like 30, 40 cents. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Again, not going to be a monstrous position here. Nothing like that. We'll have, like, just in relationship, like probably 20 to 25% of what we had this morning on the Apple trade. We're going to get a little bit more short rate now-ish around O's, and then we'll see what that's doing. I mean, look, the market could turn itself around and start to rip up, which would be fine. We're in the futures. And then the other play there, SoFi's not doing anything. We talked about that. The other play here for the futures, I am going to try one more little long here, add to it in and around 75.20 if that's available. And then get out if we break the 50-period moving average. It's just a 1-minute chart. I am going to put up a 5-minute chart up here as well to go with the daily and everything, so we can get a better look and a longer-term look at it, and then add the 5-minute with the 20. So we'll figure out what is going on with that one. Eventually, SMCI hoping for a downside move, and then $647 marker. So I'm going to be a fan of the short on this name until we start to break much more above.
That's gonna be yuck.
Down, yeah, I mean, down 4%. I mean, it's just, if I'm going to pick a poison here today, I might as well do it with this name. It's down. And then also, the NASDAQ is up today, right? And I know NVIDIA's all brand new all-time highs.
Bouncing off VWAP.
Today, and bouncing off VWAP. But the point is that you're down 0.2 here. So we still are red today on NVIDIA in an up market. So if these guys lose the market, which may happen at any time here, then I am thinking that SMCI follows even more than that. So, okay, that's a little bit of talk there for what I'm doing. I may get out a little bit on the TQs. It's bouncing off 40 again. I'll put an offer in and around here, high 30s, see if we can get a 37 fill on this one. Put 15 handles in our pocket, as we are a little bit nervous being underneath the 50-period moving average.
So you might have seen me flash in and out of Amazon short. That was unintentional. We have one of our script orders that I love to use is down, meaning it's the one where once you're 100%, it's like 100% flatten key, or you can do 50% or 25% or 75%. But now you got to put a manual one in there, which if I get out and don't cancel said manual order, the other one, once you're not in position, it just won't fire. So once you get out of position, you don't have to worry about it. Even if you leave it out there, there's no position for it to get out of. But if you just have a level stop like I did before, get out of the position, well, that thing's still sitting out there. So I just got in and out flat. But as mentioned, NVIDIA is on VWAP. Actually, I'm looking for a bounce play potentially on Amazon at those levels. But NVIDIA just held VWAP with this bottoming wick underneath. Let it consolidate. But I think like if you look at it here, the last time we traded it, there's the bounce off VWAP. Don't let it underneath that prior low. So that's the same plan of action, like the same execution strategy. If it gets underneath that 20, just jump out of it. Should either play off VWAP nicely back into the highs, but if it loses that bid, I think it's under some trouble. The chip name that I'm looking at for the short, it's a weird one because it's over VWAP, but the thing about AMD, despite the fact also it's down 3%, is it's underneath that 50 period on the daily right in here. So it's underneath that 50 period, underneath that support that's been around, that yesterday's high. So it looks to me like a 154 short rather than VWAP. Resistance at 154 on advanced micro devices. Now, if it breaks down under VWAP, I'd like this flat bottom break 153.40, or wait for it to give me the short off of the 154. VWAP to this stock is diddling in the middle of that range. So I want to wait for it to either break down or give me a 154 entry. Let's go to Adara.
SU picking up some volume here. This is Suncor. It's actually a Canadian company, so U.S. listed shares here up about 0.75%. We have a market cap of $49.71 billion here and a float of 1.27 billion shares. So this is not a small company. This one moving higher after the Globe and Mail, a Canadian news source, reporting that Elliott has almost doubled its stake in Suncor. They currently have an almost $3 billion USD stake, again, according to Globe and Mail, apparently investing more in Suncor because they see more upside. So Globe and Mail reporting an increase in Elliott's stake at SU, guys.
I own that. I know for sure it's in my RSP. I know it's in my RSP for sure. There was a good question here. Jam Lossy in the chat, and we're going back to CGC. Isn't that 547 is key resistance on CGC on the monthly after the break of 530? So, okay, first things, we're not quite there just yet, but if you look at, I have a weekly up. I guess I should have, here, let's put a monthly up there for you, and it'll zoom right in. Yeah, like here on the monthly, like it's really nothing. Like 537's right in here. We haven't broken it yet. I think 537, that would make sense because you had a nice little close at the end and then a month starting here, 537. If you're going to that high of a time frame, you have to be talking about swing trading, I'm assuming, on CGC, which I don't know. Like, you think it's an election play to swing trade into CGC? Do you wait till after? I think it's more of an election thing than a technical thing, but that's just me. If both things happen, sure, it makes some sense as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, good looks. Technically trying to break out, I suppose. NVIDIA just lost that support area. So what worked earlier, bouncing off VWAP, doesn't here. So now you're underneath VWAP on NVIDIA. And unless it can reestablish, I need to find something like rounded bottom, higher low, something that sets it back up in there for a long. Because now it's red and it's lost VWAP. And I want to be, I like AMD more for weakness than NVIDIA. Is what it is. I understand NVIDIA is perfectly capable of going down. It's not about that. It's just about which stock has been under more pressure and been weaker lately, and that's been AMD. I can't see us breaking trend down in the futures and in NVIDIA and the other chip names without AMD flushing another time, especially given that 154 being the 50 period moving average. So it's essentially just barcoding here. I think if it can just lose the support, it'd be a nice little punch in underneath that support level. Or you can't go sideways forever, make a test of that 154. So we're trying to be a little bit patient. We'll keep an eye on the weed names just in case something does happen in CGC or MOSS. I just haven't really seen anything lately. They're trying to bounce off VWAP. But my eyeballs are on AMD, which is, I think, about to lose support here.
Yeah, so we just got, I was typing to one of my cousins here. Yeah, so SMCI right there, we'll hit fail on that one. We will wind up losing there. We got out at 10s. We actually got punched in. We wound up taking less shares, so we actually got overfilled long. So we wound up taking like 3 or 4 pennies on that one. But it doesn't matter. It does break 10s and we get out. But you know what? That was 15 cents worth of a hit. So that's the L right there on SMCI. But it's so funny because we're 100% right, I feel like, about where the market was going. It's just SMCI went one way. Remember, NVIDIA was down only 0.2, and it started fading off a little bit more than SMCI, which is making me think, did we just get sort of thrown around there on SMCI? I mean, I could maybe punch, okay, there he goes. Well, sometimes we out ourselves. We just punch in all those shares and it just shows all the 07s going. But okay, so we actually had a call today with our broker dealer, and yeah, a lot of hidden shares obviously being talked about in the market these days. So be careful when you're sending out your orders there, because it's never going to the lit market. It's always going somewhere dark. So you're gonna have to watch out for that. All right, look, again, this would be being stubborn if I were to be sitting in this for a while, because we want to be right about the market going down, but I just don't want to be punched out so quickly there on SMCI, because we just looked at NVIDIA. It's going to the downside here. This is a weaker name, and we're at VWAP. We want to be a little bit conservative there, but now that we're sort of seeing that we did have that little wick high, the volume's not really picking up, so I don't feel like it's really a change in direction or anything like that. we're going to go back short. I'm going to give this one maybe to 20s, which is, again, I know it's only 13, 14 cents, which is nothing. And I'm not here to take 13 or 14 cents. That's the risk. I'm trying to go 2 to 1. You know, it's like, I saw Penguin Dynasty and talking about that and saying like he just scalped out 10 cents on NVIDIA. And someone else was like, how could you make money on 10 cents? Okay, so this is the thing. Here at Real Trading, we have, what's up, Ramin? Real Trading. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Man, these guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a good shit. Hey, stop it. Ramin, stop talking to me. She turned, you want me to say your age? I don't know if she just told me your age.
I heard the same thing. I'm hearing the same thing. She just said it out loud.
Yeah, I mean.
Are we allowed to repeat everything Ramin says?
I don't know.
Or Fabian says?
I don't know. I thought you had to say something about Real Trading. No, I was going to say here at Real Trading, hashtag Real Trading, that there it is. So is the fact that, you know, we don't pay any fees, basically. We can actually gain fees as well. So if we offer, look, there's execution fees. Every trade does have a small fee associated with it. There's clearing fees. There's SEC fees. There's all of that. Here we go, now making move back in. But at the end of the day, by me punching in and taking those sevens, I actually wind up paying a fee. So this trade, I'm paying to get into this trade. You pay about with all the fees all in, about $3 to $4 per 1,000 shares. So again, $46 stock, that'd be $50,000 worth. I don't look at it like that because the buying power is not going to be an issue, never will be. At the end of the day, you can scalp out and like if you just punched 1,000 shares there at 07 and you want to get out at 46.10 or sorry, 46 even there for that 7 cents, that's $70. And so if you're here on our floor, that is available to you. Now, that's not going to be available to all traders because, quite frankly, if you're paying even $5 or $6 in and then $5 or $6 out, that eats into it. And then at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to keep doing that the way I'm doing it. So you're going to have to decide what level is appropriate to scalp at, what level is appropriate to punch out if you're wrong, so on and so forth. And always, please, take fees into consideration. I am a little bit more reckless with all of this because I do use more shares than anybody here, and I will take out profit for 10, 15 cents. And you'll see a perfect example of that right here on Apple, what we did this morning. And Apple right now, like I said, is more than 10 times the next best stock as far as a P&L is concerned. And look at all of these outs. This is not how a lot of you would trade this, but we're long here at 233, 265. So when this starts popping up here into 50s, into 60s, into 70s, like that's only 50, 60, 70 cents. But if it's on an amount of shares that you've planned properly, then you can hit those goals. So that's why I often talk about, I do look at P&L and I do say, oh my God, all right, maybe we do need to get in and out of this stock. But at the end of the day, the best thing to do would be to, essentially not look at your P&L and just trade the setup. But that's fool's gold. So we'll just keep on looking at what we're doing. Watch at the end of the day. Look to see if there's money here. Take money when available and try to put on the best trades because you trade completely different when you actually have, and this is true of every single trader, if you actually have shares on board, you will trade that differently. It's the same reason why when people go from simulation, I mean, you guys sitting here on the chat know this. When you go from sim mode to real mode and you say, what's changed? It's psychology. You can't get away from that. And, you have to be able to rise up to the moment and not everybody can. And that's why some traders stay where they are and some traders grow. And I think that that's what you need to do is slowly start upping your shares, get it in there so you're focused on, at the end of the day, what does that bottom line number say? And hopefully you'll be able to put together some weeks, some months, and then some years and be a successful day trader. And I want to thank everybody for watching the show.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I think there's a lot of paths to it. I liken it to poker a lot. I find like the best situations that you want to be in. I've seen traders that have done it some ways or others. When you first go live, yeah, sure, psychologically it's there. But I found a lot of traders, and whether or not you're in a large position or a small position, you want to make sure you're making quality decisions. where it's about make that good decision. And you can flip from being in a big one or a small one because the execution is still the same. Like if you have an entry point, you have an exit point. The limiting factor is the amount of liquidity available in the market to execute that trade. Like ultimately, if you're trading 10 times more, 100 times more, you still have the same entry and the same exit. So what you win versus what you lose is still basically the same thing. And so you have to be able to find that, I do think, at sometimes. That's why I'm trying to focus on the execution plan of action. Because if there's one thing, and we've talked about this before, like I'm going to go to IBIT. And so, by the way, you're just going to quickly show you NVIDIA and give an example of that. So what didn't work before was bounce, there's my out. Regardless, it's going to risk 20 cents on that trade. Well, suddenly that downtrend, which culminated in the break of VWAP, just put in a higher low. So now I want to be back in on the other side of that trade and give it to the trend bottom. Now, ultimately, this ends up effectively being about the same risk in terms of the levels that are available to you and the amount that you're risking in terms of notional. Like you're in at about 30 to 40. The stop is going to be under trend underneath that 20 level one more time. So it's not necessarily different. I think the side that it's on of the trade is a little bit different here, and that's why I like it. I like it when you have a little bit more confirmation of that trade. And one of the things that was discussed yesterday was, well, what's the process for getting into trade? Like, why do you like it? Yeah, it's VWAP, but like, what's the execution rule? Like, what's the plan of action when it gets into that level? And when it comes to the plan, here, I'll give you an example, and the example would have been IBIT, right? So this morning, okay, so yeah, 38 IBIT was the long. But there's two ways you can have that long. One, the way I had it the first time, which was it bounces off 38, we take it, and then there was a second time, which is it's rinsed everybody underneath, and then you get it back on the way up on momentum. So that was the plan going in, but didn't execute off that plan. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit more patient with that entry. Speaking of which, I'm trying to be patient with AMD. It just went up into that 154. So remember, this is the 50-period moving average on the daily at 154 in AMD. So it's trying to break that one out. Needs to fail that top. Otherwise, this could just be a breakout play. NVIDIA's bouncing off VWAP. This is trying to break back out above the 154. I was looking for a fail off of that price. I was going to see if IBIT wanted to do something. And then Amazon, Amazon seems like it does want to head into VWAP here. Like you just broke 190.30, so there is no bid sitting at that prior high. I'm going to just have to wait for it to make some kind of a bid here at VWAP. So it's falling, no questions asked over here in Amazon. We'll see if it can hold up at VWAP. I'm just going to get rid of this trend because I'm not really trading off these trend lines anymore. I've got eyeballs on DJT as well and Funware just in case you get some kind of a bottom break. Remember, this top now in DJT is a big top on the daily. So it's within $1 of a monster level on the daily chart. That's why it was worth the breakout. If it can get going again, I don't mind taking that break a second time here on DJT. Just needs to make some kind of rebound. And if it loses 33 or loses VWAP, that last support, then I'll probably jump into a flat bottom break on Funware. Just looking for a loss of support on DJT. That happens. I want to punch short into Funware as long as I can get a fill off of this. It's like 1180 to VWAP is like 1160. Looking for that downside push. And not really seeing anything on CGC, Lexter in there trying to break $5. We'll see if those start to go again. But it's basically just holding VWAP with this little tiny test of 5. I'd like to see the volume pick up. Like look at the volume on CGC now. When you want a late day runner for continuation, you want the volume to start increasing again, not be continuing to decline as we are currently seeing in CGC. That's the only one I've been watching. I haven't really checked out MSOS or any of those others. The focus right now is going to be AMD and NVIDIA. AMD at that key 154 level. If we see a rejection, I'm just looking for some kind of a reversal off 154, confirm a lower high, and then play back into VWAP for a short on AMD.
All right. All right. There's SMCI. Okay. We have it, and it's going well. So there goes SMCI right back to the downside. You guys saw the little hit that we took, the little baby hit. And then you saw me punching at 07s as well. So there it goes, man. SMCI making them sing, baby, all the way down in here, back into the 50-period moving average. Where right now we have a 31-cent winner. Now we have a 36-cent winner. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about scalping and trying to make some money. You got to have a stop, and then you got to have outs, and you got to be able to appropriately position yourself and take all of that. And that's exactly 100% true, guys. Like, what we were saying is it's a completely psychological game, and that's why when you move from TMS and you go from trading fake money to real money, it's a completely different ball game, and the same thing is true when you go and use more shares, right? So, all right, let's just look on here and see what else is going on. That's SMCI. All right, so TQs. All right, so this one fell back in again, and here we go. So we're not putting on a big position at this level. We're just going to see what it does at the 50-period moving average. So we're going to take a shot at this. We're still up on the day, but we've been feeling red. Obviously, we're short on SMCI, and this is going to be one last try here for the TQs just to see if we can hold this little breaking level. This is where we were shorting. We were shorting. And look, like here's an example. It's like we get stopped out right there. Right, and then we let it settle down. Then we get short. Let it settle down. This is 3-minute chart. So just a couple minutes later, downside right there, right, making that move back in. So now we're going to wait to see here the 50-period moving average. Now remember, I'm normally on a 1-minute chart, so we are underneath now. And I can see because it's the futures, right? So here's the NASDAQ over here. Here's the TQs. So we're underneath. So catching bids against yourself is not necessarily the right plan of action, but we're going to try it here against the 200-period moving average, which turns out to be basically the same on the 1 and the 3-minute because we've been pretty blah. I guess we're at the same spot we were at about an hour ago or almost an hour and a half ago. So we'll figure that out in a minute here if that holds 75. We're punching out if this breaks 75, right? So that's the plan of action there. And we do have a small bid here just before the 200 period, and we'll see if that works. But if it doesn't, then that's it. We did punch out of about 25% of this trade. We had some bids here at 80, of course, because again, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. Get something out at resistance levels, then get something out lower. And we'll figure out what's going on right there with that one. I know there's Suncor in here, and I know that was a story that Adara had brought to our attention, of course, but not really moving too much. Again, another name there in the resource space. But again, there's so many of these names. Like here's Suncor, right? It's at the same levels it's been at since 2018. There's some of these energy plays. I thought energy would be a lot hotter. Like I have Enbridge as well.
Enbridge is much better.
No.
Relatively speaking.
No, Enbridge is the same. Enbridge is even right now. I mean, there's the same levels. It's going to be depending on what. I mean, I'm in Enbridge. Depends on what I guess the dividend is right here. But again, this has been. I wish I was a little more irresponsible in my investing, to be honest with you, and I'm not at all because I have a well overweight on tech. But all these other names, man. I know I haven't sold or done anything in this Enbridge probably for this past 5 years, and I've just wasted 5 years of capital sitting in this thing, collecting 4%. It's ridiculous. But anyways, there are verge of breakouts here in some of these spaces. So maybe I don't even remember what that Suncor news was, but I was only looking at it because potentially we could be breaking this top on Suncor, which would give us new, I don't want to say all-time highs, but at least new 5-year highs coming through. So we'll wait. It's still at $39, but we'll wait to see if 42, 42, 50 winds up breaking there on Suncor. So yeah, a good little space there. For me, it was XLE. I mean, this has been, again, it's not like it's been great. I haven't been in this one since all the way back here. But even if you have been in the last couple years, still nicely done to the upside. XLE is about a 3.2% dividend. I prefer this just because it's an ETF in the oil services space. So we'll wait to see what happens here with XLE. I still like this. This is my oil play. Basically, the only oil name I have, I would think, is XLE. I don't think I have any XOM anymore, or Chevron, or anything like that. So we're still in XLE and waiting for that one. And the TQs has come in. We did not get that 07 fill that we're waiting for, so we're kind of just sitting on our hands right here, waiting to see what's going to happen with SMCI. And there we go. Now we get that fill. So watch out now. Here we go. We're starting to break. We're breaking a little bit on SMCI, which is good, but we are definitely breaking here on the triple Qs. So let's wait to see what the NASDAQ does.
Yeah, the NASDAQ is breaking as well. AMD's not. So I don't know if that's going to be the one. Like, the whole time, like, NVIDIA is basically at the same 30s that it was before. AMD is holding that 154, even with the market rolling back. So I think it's maybe not as weak as we like it. So I think a weak name to jump over to, just not to beat a dead horse, but kind of to, is like Intel's under VWAP. It's under a key support level of 22.30. Like, if you look at this sucker, like, it's just been trending down over and over and over again underneath the morning lows. It actually just rejected back into a lower high. But I like this one back into VWAP. There's also somebody's walking DJT down, and I think they might be able to break it. Let me just quickly show you. You can probably still see the order here. They have this lit order. Oh, of course now. The second I flipped to it, it was in the 60s. Now it's not away because it's on MEMX, or there it is, MEMX. So this guy's been walking it down a little bit on DJT, and it's trying to hold lower. So it's holding the top, and he's basically holding this lower high and was doing it earlier. If this does cause it to flush, I'm still looking for that Funware breakdown. Who knows? Sometimes they want to fill, sometimes they don't want to fill. I mean, I'm not here to judge whether that's a real order or not. I can just tell you that it's been in the book for quite some time, and every time it gets close, they haven't actually filled it. So if I see it come down and drag it into a break of the low, it's Funware I'm more interested in shorting if you break that support level. So I'm looking for the VWAP retrace here on Intel in the other direction, as that one's trying to head back into the upside, not really doing much of anything. And then NVIDIA, after doing that trend break, which I had drawn, and then there you go, doing that trend break, consolidates over, essentially just holding the higher low of the trend line without any breakout. So it's just going sideways off this reversal in NVIDIA, at least for now. So just got to be patient with it, keeping an eyeball on CGC and DJT in case something, like the last few days, there's been some kind of runner in the afternoon almost every day. Feels like this is the first time in a while that there's really nothing going crazy this afternoon. And if that's the case, that's fine. You just got to be patient, wait for the place to set up. That's what worked out this morning, and we can try to do some of the same things here this afternoon. Not really much going on in terms of the nanonuclear names or SMR. Really, those have been kind of a dead zone here, so we got to look for something else. I have nothing that's popping up in my halt scanner either. There hasn't even been one. First time my halt scanner has nothing since noon in at least a week.
Uber's still holding up. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow morning and afternoon as far as the halts and the sort of the crazier stocks of concern. I mean, we did a Funware earlier. You mentioned DJT. I don't know. TWG, that's right there. Yeah, there was. Yeah, VinFast was going. I mean, the weed names are going. So there is a lot happening for sure. Tomorrow night, I believe, of course, is going to be Tesla. All right, here, let's have a quick look to see what is reporting here tonight. Please do not flip over to this screen yet. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, October 22nd, which would, of course, be today. Maybe if I just make this a little bit bigger. There we go. That should help us all out. So we're looking for after market close. Oh, yeah. It's Texas Instruments, baby. Join me in Adair tonight. We'll have Texas Instruments conference call 4:30, which means it will be released much earlier than that. So we will have this this report live with you on the Market Recap Show down now today, but we'll figure out 5.2% as expected. What? You're telling me it moved 0% last earnings? Okay, that's probably wrong. All right, before market open, yo, what's up, CNI? Say shout out to Canada right now. Qualcomm moving around apparently as well. Wait a minute, did I just get some out of TQQs? Oh, I think I just relieved some. Oh, that's Tesla. I was going to talk about Tesla. Yeah. Okay. So we just got some 7s. We just got some 15s just to get a little bit out because we realize, of course, that we are underneath the 50-period moving average. And honestly, if we take that, great. But I'm not necessarily expecting it to do that. So we'll take some out there for flat on that one. There's Danaher down today, down 4%. That stock, I thought it made a good move back up, but we'll have to check that out. GE again, down 9%. We're out of GE. We got out of most of our industrials a while ago, which was a mistake, I guess. We'll have to see what it's doing. After market close, all right, Baker Hughes, Costco, no, I was joking. Costar Group right there after market close. Seagate, okay. There's a lot of names today. It's $23 billion company, STX. We used to talk about that a lot. And by a lot, I mean a little. AMC, aftermarket close. PKG, Packaging of America. I'm going to go one more there in case there's some randos over here that we may see there. Nope. Oh, Enphase tonight. Enphase. There it is. Enphase.
That's a big one.
Just 12 billion in market cap, expecting a 12% rate there. Enphase. Other than that, man, I don't know, Robert Half. I mean, I'm not really seeing anything else that we would trade. I'm only looking right now at these tickers to see if there was anything else. I'll go one more page for everybody because we're still in the billions here. Banco, no. Anything here? Any small flyers here that we normally look at? No. So, all right. So basically, Texas Instruments, Seagate there. To look at CNI for the rails if you're interested in the transports. We've talked about that a lot in the past, transports and how they're moving around. So here's an example right now, Penguin Dynasty, AAL, where we are 5 handles in the money. So let's take out 10% of what we have here at 19s. So see, we're sitting here offering. So we did not get filled there. So this is what I'm trying to say about why I trade. Come over to the screen here, Ramin, if you can, just quickly. So I'm going to offer my shares at 19s. It was just there and it ran away from us. So hopefully it comes back up. If we get filled, I will get paid to execute this trade. When you're trading the futures, which is NQ, hold on, I'll get it for you in a second. It's down there. There we go. NQ forward or backslash, whatever one that is, Z24. So this is what the futures contracts look like. There is only paid. You cannot add liquidity and get filled. You have to, no matter where you put your order, and I'm not going to move this out, but it's in quarters. So these are the futures levels, and it just looks so much different, right, than what the TQs look like as they look like a stock. So again, that's why I choose to trade over here. It's a fee reason. It's just a comfortability reason there, and I could do math a lot easier than having to figure out I have 10 contracts at this price, so on and so forth. So we'll continue to use the TQQs here as a triple levered product, which is why, if you're wondering why is this up 0.15 and this is up 0.5, it's because it is nicely in tune with each other, up again, triple the value. So has nothing to do with trading faster. I mean, if anything, the Qs, I'm more trading this for you guys too, because there's more opportunity in it if we talk about the same levels. This, to take 1,000 shares of this, you would need $500,000. Right? So that would be fine for me, but at the end of the day, most of us won't have that in their account unless you are on a prop floor. So at the same time, I'm going to choose the triple Qs where if I take 1,000 shares on this one, it's just a paltry $75,000. So what's up, Penguin Dynasty and everybody else, man?
Wow, Havana Winnie just put something in the chat about his broker in DJT. Schwab offered 40-1 margin on DJT for 4 hours last week, and you didn't take the bait. I feel like DJT is going to be, and we said this before, if you're at real trading, the other advantage you have is trading in the aftermarket on Blue Ocean. And I keep thinking the way those odds are going, the more extreme one outcome, it doesn't matter. The more extreme one outcome over another outcome becomes with regards to the election. I'll pull up DJT. I was going to say something about Enphase, but you kind of went over that one. I think that might be the earnings name to watch in terms of a move tomorrow. But the more likely the outcome gets, the more movement DJT or things like Fund can have if there's any kind of a surprise on election night. And the best thing about it is, as you see results come in, futures will fluctuate. And they did move. And the last election, there were traders that were trading the futures. The difference is now all of a sudden you've got something that'll probably move more than the futures on election night, and that is going to be a DJT or a Fund. It's still not breaking this top here. We can be patient for it. Whether or not it's a consolidation day where the first time it breaks out that high on the daily is going to be a minor fail, and it does it tomorrow, it's still making, look at the lower high trend since the news picked up. I'm pretty sure this was about the same day that you said the odds flipped in Trump's favor, was right around here. Maybe not the exact day, but that's where the volume started picking up again, and then essentially just trend high into what looks like a flat top break. I think it's going to be a crowded trade because everyone's trying to get this breakout as a day trader, but those are the ones you want to take advantage of. And if Funware wants to go too, fair enough. So DJT doing a heck of a lot of nothing as we speak. NVIDIA is starting to go off of VWAP, but all you're doing is holding VWAP and barely bouncing above. The range from the top is about 70 pennies in here. So I want to respect the range. The market's not really making any strong push into those highs, and you have a mixed bag when it comes to all these chip names. You got a few that are flat, you got a few that are above VWAP. As I said, Intel, like even with that last little bounce in the market, this is barely moving. It looks incredibly weak to me. I think this is a trend down stock until proven otherwise. Just didn't really look at it today for some reason. And the weird thing is, like, it's the same high, 1, 2, 3, 4, in the last 3 days, counting today, 5 times, basically just short $22.80 on Intel whenever it gets there, and that's been your spot. Yesterday, you couldn't have done much with it. It just stopped at that price and closed there, but you couldn't have lost, that's for sure. The only thing we're in is NVIDIA off of VWAP. That's starting to go. Going to take some out into the 50s, and if it gets to 144, we'll hold on to the last, maybe a small little piece, because 144 resistance, want to respect it. That is it's the all-time high as where it closed yesterday at this price.
All right, here we go. Again, the TQs, man, right back up to it again, man. We're doing it again and again and again, and we're not planning on stopping here. So there goes the TQs. Nicely traded back up. Now it's just a 20-handle winner right there. So have some chicken dinner winners tonight if you are trading or with the futures. And let's see now if it can get back up. I mean, look, we emptied out a lot right here at the 50-period moving average. So we are pretty good with that one. What's up, Fabian? Good, yeah, everything's good, yeah. Okay, so nice move there for that. We did take something out on SoFi. Whoopsies, did I not take something out on SoFi? Where's SoFi? Oh, that's because I'm zoomed in. That is SoFi, my bad. I'm like, that's not the SoFi chart. All right, well, it is. So there's SoFi right here. SoFi has moved 1 cent in an hour.
That's barcoding.
Okay, then, and you guys are all welcome.
Money, 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 money.
Again, guys, it's about trading the right names. And there's SMCI right now, 30 cents in the money to the short side. So again, we had just looked at this to the short side. We had lost it going short up there at VWAP. We talked about that. And then we are right now back in it. Pound the alarm. Yes, sir. What's up to Nick M? All right, another piece out there at, what was it, 75, 76? Okay, we'll see. Hopefully it can come back in. But honestly, man, if the futures rip up, we good to go, baby. We're long right now, 75.07. Like, our out here was about 10 handles lower. So, okay, let's go on that one. SoFi, forget about it. Apple right now.
Oh, my God.
Trying to get back to day's high. Now, we did get a piece out there as we were underneath, and we did talk about that, but we have a small, well, again, depends on who you are, but a piece left. Right now, this is going to be infinitely nothing compared to what we had in the beginning, but we'll wait to see this one, 235.50. I mean, it's right there right now. The high has been 236. That looks pretty sweet if that can come into play, so we'll wait on that one. And then just quickly on DraftKings, because I'm not going to forget about this one. I still like the short. We wrote down here on today's sticky note, you can go find it. Over 5,500 of you have viewed this today, and I want to thank you for that. We have on here DraftKings. This is available on Instagram at TraderTVSean and on X as well. But we wrote down here DraftKings 36.50 break, and that just didn't today come into play. It almost did, and we were looking at that from the pre-market. So this is why there's 36.50 yesterday. Again, the market rallied here. Sort of, I guess, and didn't give us that opportunity. So DraftKings just went. And the short, I mean, we're not in it. So the short was wrong there. But look, 38 held. So if you're going to look at something, maybe 38 there. Okay, I mean, too bad it's not closer to that right now. We put a little bit more, take advantage of that. I'm going to take this 25 handles right now, take another piece. Okay, you know what? Let me offer 32s. If we can get filled here. So just like I'm sitting there at 32. So as it starts to go, there it goes. So we get filled. So as it breaks through 32, I get paid to add those shares in. All right. So just to talk about that. And there it goes right now. It's going to be a big day, man. And let's see if these futures can continue to climb upside. I'm looking for a high of day again. So we'll see if we can get to 20,600.
Yeah, I'd be happy if we get to that high a day. I want to answer a question about IWM for a couple of reasons. One, because don't just assume that when things are supposed to go one way when it comes to rates, that they will continue. But IWM has been making a move to the downside. It might actually be breaking down as well. But if we get upside in the future, I expect we should be seeing a press past this 70 resistance, which was resistance here on NVIDIA. At least a couple times earlier, there was a breakout off VWAP that got us to those prices. It just stalled at 60, so it's rounding up off of VWAP. If it can break the 60 level, going to get some out 70s and then 80s as well. But there's a question about IWM. The only time I traded IWM was that's interesting, was on the last Fed day when we had a disputed decision. And that was because we didn't really know if we were going to get a quarter or 50, which at that point, to me, made one of the obvious ways to express it to be in small caps. Because if you get 50 instead of 25, the idea being it's better for smaller companies, which are a little bit more rate sensitive, yada, 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 all that stuff. So sometimes it's been GDX for traders on the floor if it's not the futures or an individual stock. But I think last time it was IWM. It could be the case if they get more aggressive with the cutting, although it doesn't look like they're going to. So it's another one of these, did not break out the top. There's your resistance on the daily. Probably headed back into a test of support. And if you look at the weakness now, it's breaking trend. If you look at this one, just broke trend back to the upside off of those lows. So held the bottom, kind of closing underneath here on the trend. If this was something that I was more interested in, that's usually like a short entry there, give it to that kind of a level. I just put it in the relative weakness bucket, especially when you consider that loss of the trend line. Still nothing really going on Intel to give you anything back up into VWAP. Like it's barely even moving. Although AMD, however, as that market's gently going higher, AMD is starting to hold above 154 and trying to break out here. So instead of losing 154 and reversing this trend to short back into VWAP, AMD is doing the other thing where it's going the other way. I'm not wanting to flip over into the long in it. I think it would need to clear out the 20s and the 30s at least. And then here comes Amazon. So wait for Amazon to get into the morning support. Afternoon support, 189. It's just made the bounce. So you wait for it to get down here. I want to see it hold a higher low. Only looking longs in Amazon until it loses this level here at 189.25. But you had to wait for it to get down to this price. So it took some time, but Amazon does get there. That last exit is not a short position. I got out of it flat. It was like an accidental short position. I had a stop order that I left in there. But I want to see this higher low hold or break out of VWAP, and then we'll give it back into 189.35. So Amazon catching a bit of a bid here, but you had to let it fall all the way in to this afternoon support level before I like that long. So just looking for a nice little entry point here. Either give me that lower high, like a wick down underneath this lower high, and then we can get a long in here, or break out the top, like break out this level here and get a play in around VWAP that we can give to 189.60 on Amazon. Trying to be patient. We got 40 minutes to go. Still plenty of time. Funware is doing nothing. DJT is doing absolutely nothing. The weed names have stopped moving at all. So it's going to have to be like an Amazon or NVIDIA or an AMD for me that's going to give us a shot going into the close. And with the market going up, I'm looking only for the longs for now.
Okay. All right, save as default, apply here. All right, I'm going to apply. I'm just going to add a 5-minute low default, apply, okay. Switch this over to 5 minutes, okay. Make sure that we're all linked up. Hey, shout out to everybody that's with Real Trading. This is how you link up your charts so that they all match together. So we will link it to group 1, I assume. I will have to double check to see which group this one is linked to. That is also linked to group 1, so that should be good. All right, and it's a 5-minute chart, so we will put the new layout right here to look at a little bit more data as we go. So we'll drop that down right there. And now we will have, hopefully, a 5-minute chart to go along with our 1-minute chart, as again, we've been doing some charting here, and I mean, it's working out, baby. This is now a 30 handle winner on the TQQs. So we were just in this trade, and let's just get another piece out at 39 if we can. Hopefully it rips up through 39 and gives us that fill. Oh, or not. All right, so anyways, if that happens, it happens. I mean, these are the futures, so we'll give it a couple seconds to figure itself out, but there it goes. Nicely done again off the 200 period moving average. I mean, you know, it is what it is. SMCI, we're out of half of it, more than half of it on this downside push. We actually didn't get as far as I thought. A couple good outs here as we shorted off VWAP. Remember, we did get stopped out there as we went to this upside, but look where we got stopped out, breaking 10s. Like we got long at 11s there. Our last fill is 99s. So make some money back in. Did not get out of it all. We still have just under half left here for SMCI. But again, underneath, but swooping. There we go. Let me zoom this back out a little bit so you can see a bit more on that one. We're going to get rid of here. We do not need to indicate these fills. So go like that and go like that and push like that and push like that. All right. And then now we will save our layout. So now we will just have some more data to go on. So now SMCI, as you can see here underneath VWAP, obviously VWAP won't change no matter what we're looking at. But at the end of the day, the 200 and the 50 period will. So right there, we're going to take a look at SMCI. It needs to break underneath this 45-60 area. And if it doesn't do that, then we probably hold the rest of the day and start to moon. We're fine with moon. I mean, if we're going to go upside, did we get that 39 or not? I'm not sure if we did there. No, we did not. So, all right, I'm going to put out something here at 34 just to make sure, well, can we even catch that? And this is the problem. Like I missed there by 9 cents, or now, let's see if we get a 34. We missed by 5 cents when we could have just paid the fee, which would have been minimal, and punched out there at 38. So again, sometimes trying to get like all cute with fees and everything is something that you have to be careful with. We did have, like I talked about it today, we did have a call with our broker dealer where they said rebates were dead, but I don't think in this situation rebates are dead here at all. You can use them to your advantage on a prop floor. I mean, most of you guys that are trading right there might not have different fee structures based on whether or not you add or remove or your different order types. We're blessed here at Real Trading to have over 400 different order types. I made that number up, but it kind of sounds realistic. So at least 300 different order types.
You know what? I argue it's more than that. Because the thing most people don't realize is it's not just the individual like gateways. Because like I'll show you what New York looks like on the order type book. Like it's like every single key you could imagine. But then each of these individually, like if I just I can pick one, and there's like multiple different like routing destinations to it. They have different types that you've got in there. So like each key that we have, there's probably like 4 or 5 ways that it can execute sometimes, and sometimes even 10. And it doesn't, look man, it's not as if you use every single one of them, nor do you even have them all memorized. But if there's a dark pool that's filling better than another, and you know, let's say you're trading SoFi or Neo or like a stock that's like cheaper, and you want to make sure you get the fill at the price level you want, and a couple of cents is going to matter. Maybe you want that big midpoint order before it breaks a level or as it's breaking the level to get yourself a better entry price. Just quickly over here, I want to get to. I was going to make something a comment about GM here, but just an update. There was a bottoming tail candle, at least for a second. I'll show you here, like right there was this wick back into VWAP on NVIDIA, came right back into resistance at the 50s, took some more out. Now I think if it loses underneath VWAP, I'm going to jump out of this trade. It's not going all that far. At the end of the day, it's bouncing off VWAP, but you're getting 143.30 to 143.55 to 60 at this point on NVIDIA. General Motors, however, I'm looking for a mean revert on this. It's up over 10% today on earnings. As you guys can see, it's flying on the daily. Huge mover today. We had one breakout trade, and that was pretty much it. It was just a breakout. I mean, it's pretty obvious here. Like it breakout on the daily, it broke $51. Probably way too aggressive in getting out early on the move. You can always hold better, but it is what it is. Now you've got, since the early morning move, there's your higher low trend. So for a mean reversion trade, I'm essentially just looking for that trend line, which by the way, here Real Trading, like I save it on my 15, I draw it on my 15, save it on my 15, and then it just automatically shows up on my 3 minute or my 5 minute or my 1 minute, whatever it might be. So if it can get underneath that, I'm looking for a break back down into VWAP here. Now it's running out of time for it to do it, but this is one that I do have on watch. Jason saying GNPX is rocketing. This one had been left for dead earlier. Now GNPX up 150% again. This is where it was earlier today. So it's already made the run into $4. Now you got yourself a nice rounded bottom. You should never, obviously you've slept on this one, but you never want to sleep on a gapper that even if it pulls back in, holds prior high, makes a rounded bottom, and gets back above VWAP. So you won't catch me, I know it's a double top, but punching along here when it just made a 70-cent move on a $4 stock. That's one candle, 70 pennies, and now it's trying to follow it up. Yeah, you need a pullback. You need a consolidation. Otherwise, like, where's your out going to be if you just randomly get in long here? Makes a lot of sense. If you're long in here, yeah, you can put it out at like 320, and you can be long at 330 or 340. With only about 35 minutes to go, this 4 break is not going to be for me. Out of just pure curiosity, I want to see, do we have... Oh, no, we don't have free locates on this. So even if I wanted to short this, which I don't, we don't have locates on it. It's just useful information in case something absolutely silly does happen. So I'd look for a false break of $4, maybe a pullback into VWAP, or a break of 4 that can consolidate higher for us in here. So that one's starting to go. I see Funware starting to pick up. I'm going to assume DJT is going as well. DJT almost at that high break. Okay, so it's DJT time. DJT, that 34.58, which is the highest that it got. This is also a breakout on the daily for DJT. So I'm just going to get the order back in. We took the break when it was 34.50. Now it's essentially 34.60. Not just any breakout on the daily chart here or on the intraday chart. It also happens to be a pretty significant level on that daily. That's the reason I like it. There's your top. Now you're trying to test it again. So another breakout opportunity here on DJT. And I feel like if it fails that breakout, just like it did here, like it started going up, kind of held trend for about 25 cents and then lost trend. If it does the same thing, punch short Funware. So I'm going to have Funware up as well in sympathy to DJT. So we're getting close. We're about 30 cents away from that. It's not an all-time high. It's just the high from last week on DJT, looking for that double top break. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but if it breaks, we're going to be in it.
My wife and daughter are at some media event for the holiday Christmas gift selection or something like that. Yeah, it's a media event where they got to take pictures and Christmas. Yeah, man. Christmas, I mean, it's 2 months away.
It's almost November.
2 months away. Happy birthday to Ramin today. We got to say happy birthday to Ramin.
Got it.
Happy birthday.
When you have kids, you got to get into the Christmas thing early, man. Like,
happy 41st birthday, Ramin. There we go. Okay, so 75.30. Again, we're just sitting here waiting for something to happen, so we will do that. We did get that out, obviously, on the futures. I mean, Intel, Boeing, I could look at NVIDIA as well, but that's not doing anything. Intel's not doing anything. Is there anything doing something? Funware, anything you guys want to do? Gold and silver? Let's look at gold and silver. Okay, so again, the only name that I'm in on gold, and we've talked about this, I got a shout out to Raheem about it. I'm in Barrick Gold, GOLD, which is breaking highs right now as well. So that's been a really good one. But look at gold here on the daily. Man, it's going to take me a minute to get used to this. I'm going to save my layout. I know I already did it, but I'm going to do it again just to make sure. All right, so there it is. There it is on the daily chart. GLD, man, this is the gold ETF. Still continuing to go higher. I mean, honestly, like, I've never seen gold move like this in my whole life. I'm not invested in gold. I never have been. It's been a waste of multiple decades sitting in this thing. But now it finally goes. So all the gold bugs that especially have bought something in January are now well in on this trade. I mean, what is GLD actually? What is GLD on the year right now? Let me have a quick look at this one here. There's Tesla on the year down 12.5%. GLD coming here for the year. Wow-wee, man, 32%. I mean, you can over here and look at gold here on a weekly chart. We can even go back. I mean, how far back does this go? Monthly? What do we have here? Yeah, monthly is the furthest. So this is what I'm saying about gold. This is 2011. You know, like, if you were vested, if you started investing in gold back 15 years ago, what year is it now? 2035? Okay, good. No, just if you invested in this a decade ago, then, you know, it was 167 for the longest time. It dipped down in here to 100. So if you're averaging in, it is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that if that's your strategy. But there goes gold. I feel... Yeah, exactly. I missed the first part. I heard something about a real... Okay. Ramin just letting us know that she is deep in gold, right there, buying bars and bars of gold. Not only were we at Costco the other day, yesterday, where I spent $29 on, it was chicken taco. You bring it home to yourself. It has like pad in, that was only $18. And then we got the cheddar broccoli soup. It might have been maybe it was a cauliflower in there as well. That was about $10 for 2 big things. Anyways, you can also buy gold bars as well at Costco, but there's gold. Nicely done on the month. I mean, I think that we've seen the US dollar become in question. I mean, we talk about digital gold all the time with Bitcoin and different things like that. But at the end of the day, it is proper right now. This is month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So out of 8 months, you get one little stop and go spot there, and then that kicked it up. So 8 straight months basically of upside pressure to gold. And then you could just have a quick look over there and see it seems to be working out right now. I mean, if you're in it, maybe you're in it as a safe haven. I don't know, but I would still stay into it at least until you get a red month on gold. I mean, there isn't one there. Do not fight the trend too hard.
It's gone.
This is Barrick. So, oh yeah. So there must have been. This should be calculating a split. So I'm not sure. They must. Maybe they spun a division off or something. But this, what I'm getting at here is the same way. A lot of the stocks, gold by itself is what's really ripping right now. This is the GLD, the stock, gold, Barrick Gold, the stock. And as you can see right here, it's $19 back in 2020, $21 now. We're in it much lower than where this level is now. I think I'm at 16 in change if we go over to a daily chart here for Barrick Gold in 1 second, and then we can have a quick look. It's 330 right now. We're gonna have a quick look. Yeah, exactly, down into here. So we really, again, the 200 period moving average, sometimes you don't forget price levels and things like that. So there it is, $16 right there for Barrick. Nicely done all the way to the top, 21 and change. I'm staying in this name until we break the 50 period moving average, which would be $20. So I still like gold a while from now.
Yeah, I think it's a great
Futures
look on
are
field. I'm very curious as to what that was in 2019, but it ultimately doesn't really matter. There was another question about silver as well. Just try to remember that. What is going on with that SLV chart? SLV did not halt for like a month in there. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. So this one's still looking very, very good. It just recently broke. It's so very different from gold, where like you've been breaking out for quite some time, as you saw there, like how many months in a row. Well, on the daily, you've essentially just broken what's been the high for half the year on silver like 2 days ago. And it's doing a bit of a continuation pattern to the upside. So this is getting dragged up, I think, by gold. And yeah, it's in a bit of a new phase. So I think this one can look like a good long as a day trade. It really, like it just didn't do much off the top break today. The high of the day break was really not, it was like 15 to 20 cents that it ultimately went and then decided to pull back. I think the dip buys have been where you can get it in. Like it dip bought yesterday and gave you like 50 into 90s, which is over 1%. And then the dip buy today into the prior high worked. So I think I'd look for something like that. Like wait for the dip into like an obvious support level for the trend continuation over there in silver. As that was going on, it's past 330. I was going to look at the early look imbalances. I mean, there really isn't anything, but we'll let you guys, I'll let you guys see it in a quick little second. NVIDIA just got to 143.80. So remember, 44 has been the local high. So it gets to 144. I'm looking out. And there might be time for a VWAP retracement. It's hit or miss at this point past 330. But as I said, nothing really doing on the early look imbalances, although not often. I can't remember the last time I saw SPY up here, but there is a sell imbalance on the SPY of 1 million. Remember how big the SPY, the futures are there. So 1 million on the SPY. Can't tell you whether it's big or not. I can tell you that FXI for 1 million on the buy side is insignificant because we've seen even bigger numbers than that on FXI, and it hasn't really done much of anything. We've seen 3-4 million do nothing. I would suspect 1 million with 7 paired is doing nothing as well for FXI. So not much in here by way of early looks. I don't know what DNB is for 2 million shares to buy. What is that? Done, and yeah, okay. It's an $11 stock. It's not moving. So probably not that significant. Anytime I see a stock that's got an imbalance of 2 million and it's done less than 1 million shares, I tend to think there might be something. But unless there's an index action, it's probably a nothing burger, this DNB. So NVIDIA hits that 80 level, comes right back into the 60s. It would be nice if it could hold a higher low to press into 144. For now, I'm still willing to do a reload into VWAP, but the closer we get to the close, probably wouldn't let's see what's going on in individual sectors with Adara.
Only 25 minutes till the end of the day. What I like to do around this time is take a look at some of the larger movers in the S&P 500 to either the upside or the downside that we haven't discussed as much. And the theme for this afternoon's edition is going to be large upside movers with earnings. This morning we looked at some of the downside moves. Let's take a look at some of these upside earnings plays we might have forgotten about, starting with Philip Morris, PM. This one basically at day's highs up more than 10%. Beating here for EPS and for sales. They also actually had stronger than expected EPS guidance. Apparently their Zyn sales doing quite well and expecting to have more of their Zyn tobacco pouches in stock heading into 2025. Now we also have Norfolk Southern, NSC up more than 3% here, beating also for earnings per share and having, I guess, well-received railway operating revenues there for NSC. Last but not least, great look for this biotech name here, DGX, Quest Diagnostics. This is another one almost up at high of days with a nice bull flag look. They did beat for both EPS and for sales, and they also guided higher than expected 2024 sales. So good report and guidance for DGX, still in the quest to the upside. So many big movers today as we get that earnings season started, guys.
And we have all those movers, and then we have a 1, a 2, a $3 winner now on Apple, as Apple goes right back up there to the high of the day. I was just looking at this right here. These are the updated odds right here. So 60%, according to Kalshi, right here, as we look at the swing states right here. They have Pennsylvania, Trump, 56%. So we'll see if that happens. 53% in Michigan. I mean, this is what's determining the election. Unfortunately, if you guys are located in any other state here, your vote still matters. But not really. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, shout out to the Packers and Hydration Nation. The NFC North still remains the most dominant division in NFL history. All right, so Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and that's it, right? So, okay, and other than that, yeah, nothing down here. All right, what's up, Alaska? All right, so that's what's going on right now, 60%. So let's have a look at, and that's, I mean, and that's pretty, you know, like that would be a huge, I would assume that's a pretty big blowout there if the numbers stay that way into November 5th.
You know what was
so,
weird, though?
What's that?
When I check, I don't know what it is this morning, but right now, but I checked this morning when you were pulling that up. The odds for the popular vote, however, was 61%. I was like, really? It's 61%, Kamala, despite the fact that it's gone 60 the other way. So the
popular odds really makes no difference.
No, it doesn't. It's the Electoral College at the end of the day.
Right,
so. Okay, let's go to Adair for the ad read, and then let's come back. We had a super chat from David. We'll get to your super chat on the way back.
This part of the show brought to you by eSignal. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data and instant trading. Know where the market's moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game. Customize and analyze markets faster. Your way. Better backtesting and scanning. Predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable, real-time data. Up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now with eSignal. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description.
Elevation.
Thank you, Adara. And to the super chat here, appreciate you, David. Want to thank you for that super chat. All we ever do here, and we love the support of our viewers, is hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the party. Join what I think is the best trading community out here, where everyone is essentially just trying to get better and help each other every single day. And so hit that like and subscribe. If you want to chat, if you want to be in the chat, it is a subscribers only chat. So you do have to hit the sub just to be in the chat and converse with everybody here, including us. So you have some fizz, some Sprott Gold for a while because it may be fun to convert to a real bar. Hey, why not? I'm not going to lie. I actually have. I'm not really a metals person. I've never really been invested. I've been into gold in some sense from time to time. I actually have some physical silver, but it doesn't really matter. And then the second part, yeah, you can do what you. I will leave the politics out of that one, but I can tell you, Canada's a nice place to live. It is what it is there. But yeah, I mean, I think gold does really well.
It is the nicest place in the world to live.
I would there's a lot of great places to live. I love Canada to death. And the only other place that I think I would want to live is maybe in the Caribbean. when I get a little bit older and I want that nice weather.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But I'm talking about for non-retired.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like it's
to actually live your life.
Yeah, my only beef with Canada is the fact that I hate the cold. But everything else about it is perfect.
Right. So
I can't.
We agree. The best country. You agree? The best country in the world to live, right there. Oh, Canada, right there. So shout out to everybody else. And I mean, I feel like everybody, could have that opinion, and that's what should have that opinion.
You just gotta. You want to love where you live.
It sucks that you can't. Some people don't have that opinion about where they live, but unfortunately, you are where you are, and you try to make the best of it. I do that all the time. All right, so 46 right now. We are short into SMCI. We did get the reload right there.
I'm reloaded.
Have I been to Colombia? No, but you know what? South America? I don't think I've been to South America, actually. No, I don't think so. No, have not. Yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, me and the Chilean Nightmare are going to go there for one of our vacations there. We're going to open up, we are going to open up an office in Chile, me and the Chilean Nightmare. I used to open up offices all around the world. Oh, yeah, by the way, Oasis coming here. I have tickets for that Oasis concert. That should be a lot of fun to go to that one as well. But yeah, Colombia, pretty cool. I have some friends. Shout out to Nelson there in Venezuela. That should be a lot of fun. If anybody wants to open an office in Brazil or anything, let me know. I'll bring my guy Andre over here. Andre. Brazil. We're going to go to Brazil one day. You speak Portuguese? Yeah, so Brazilian over here. Are you Brazilian? Brazilian, there we go. So we got the Chilean Nightmare, the Brazilian Bomber. I don't know.
If you're a boxer. No, come on. Like that.
Throwing bombs. Like
come on. Like the
not like,
bronze
not
bomber,
like
the Brazilian bomber. Like everyone knows that
term
is a boxing term.
The Brazilian, I'll think of something.
Brazilian Bandit, how is that better?
Bandit's not bad.
It's not as cool as
Bandito.
Bandito?
The Brazilian Bandito.
Is it Bandito or Bandito?
There. Bandito. Both. Right there. Okay, so all right, so we took some out. I mean, let's get back to a little bit of trading here because we actually have money on the line right now. So we'll get some out. So we just got almost all of this out right now as we came right back into this level. We talked about 75.50. So that's an out right there, 75.50 out on the TQQs. So that one right there. Banger coming through right now, so that'll be good. Apple obviously rules the day, and it's funny, you can go back, and I can tell you this right now, at 8:58, Neil, I remember saying Apple will be the #1 stock today. So I don't know, I mean, shout out to Mr. Westermeyer, we have this, go rewind it to 8:58. So there we go, we put it on our back, and we do it. We do the goods there. We talk about it. This is what having confidence into your trades are all about. And there it goes. It's Apple. It is it's more than 10x the next biggest stock P&L wise, which I think is the most important. So there it goes. Apple P&L right there. Big time play. All right, SoFi. And by the way, we will still, it's funny because we weren't able to get any more shares on this. We talked about trying to get more down here. We only punched into a third. We should have. We weren't here when this happened, nor this. Those are excuses. I hate using excuses. Doesn't matter if you're here or not. You can put orders out. I did not. Those were reload spots. But now finally SoFi puts us positive on, we're not going to be positive on SoFi, but positive on this initial breakout. Absolutely hilarious that we take it at 9.45 and then we lose 13 cents because we do have an out right there. And then we just punched back in to a third of the shares. So when that started ripping back up right now, nice to get the money back, but at the end of the day, we did not get it back. We are still red on SoFi, green on futures. Well, SMCI were reloaded, but red on this right now because we only got out of half. So position pending on SMCI. We've already talked about Apple, and then the TQQs is going to be that stock as well, green. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening here on all of these. But yeah, so far a pretty good day there. Let's check out DJT. We can't talk about politics and all of this without looking over here. The reason why we are talking about it, and that's why I'm showing those odds. It has nothing to do with, I think both candidates would be good for the market, to be honest with you. I mean, we saw a huge market rally off of Trump's election, and I feel like we could see it again if that happens. I mean, the oil patch could be something that we talk about more and more with Trump there. Obviously and again, I'm not going to talk about the war and which side would benefit that. But, there'll be some talk there in the resources and things like that that will affect that. And then Lockheed Martin, LMT, and different names like that could be affected come November 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th or December 6th when eventually it gets settled out. But there's LMT down now 6%. I don't know if they reported or what. I didn't even realize this was happening right now today. Can we find out about LMT, Adara? Right now, because that's a nice move down in there for today. I don't know if they had earnings or not, but there it is, LMT to the downside.
They reported this
right there. They did have earnings. Okay, so might be a great buy opportunity then for Lockheed Martin, coming right back into the 50-period moving average. I have no idea where my 200 is. Maybe it will eventually load up well off of that, but
it's so far
there
down.
we go. Yeah, huge move up for Lockheed. So again, congratulations if you're in this name, but this is, again, good opportunity to buy it, but a very unstable name as we approach election time. But I think both parties, I don't know if either one has what it's going to take to sort of quell what's been happening there. But I do think if Trump gets in, it's going to be a change of some kind of policy. So we'll see what winds up happening there with Israel and whatnot. So, okay, we definitely want peace in this world. That would be the best if we could somehow get to that. But wise man said that that is not going to ever be possible, and that may be correct. All right, what's up, Adara?
It worth noting in the defense space, it wasn't just LMT that reported. RTX Raytheon also reporting here. And LMT down in the day, but they actually did raise their guidance here for their GAAP EPS, but they narrowed their sales guidance, again, to the upside. So actually raising the lower part of their guidance range. So interesting look here for LMT and RTX. But also, we are brought to you by Firefly. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology in collaboration with Brightmind Biosciences. Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform, has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
There, appreciate you. There was a small story on Walmart that I checked, and then the amount that there was a little bit of a settlement, and then I was like, oh, Walmart's moving. But it was $7 million on some kind of a settlement, which for Walmart, they probably make that in a matter of minutes, so not a big deal. But it was at the high of the day. When the news hit. It just doesn't really matter. I don't think it was affecting it at all. We only have about 3 minutes to go until the imbalances pop in there. It's still just this, whatever the DNB is, was just a small stock that has an imbalance, which is much greater than its daily volume. It's done less than 1 million shares, and it's got a 2 million sell imbalance. So I am going to double check. Again, I didn't see anything on this. My suspicion is that maybe it's coming out of some kind of a small cap or something along those lines, because that's a hefty imbalance. But the SPY still a sell of 1 million shares, hasn't really done anything here. WFC is a buy of 1.4 million. The early look is as well. So that could be worth a bit of a watch. We did have Money Mitch talking about WFC rolling over a little bit. Worth watching there. You can't seem to break past 143.8 on NVIDIA after bouncing off VWAP, so it runs into it one more time. At this point, because it's 350, local high becomes the trail out. Forget about this trend. I think 143.5 is probably, it showed you a bounce off there already. So if we bounce off and there's a buy and bounce on NVIDIA, play it into 144. If it's a sell and bounce, it probably just takes out that 143.5 in one shot. It might get there before that, but at this time of day, the imbalances can take in either direction. And NVIDIA's tended to have some kind of a balance one direction or the other most days. So we'll respect that. The 6, what up to the 6? AMD to 155? I mean, maybe, but look, it's not really going that far off 154. You've been holding 154 all afternoon with a top of 154.40 and underneath of like 90. So 50 penny range on AMD. And that's essentially since right about here. It's all day long that you've been holding the same range. All afternoon long you've been holding the same range. At about 3 o'clock here, it made a little bit of a high, but then put in another 50-cent range. So 50-cent range to 50-cent range. I think it's unlikely it gets to 155 unless there is a buy imbalance, which is possible. But I can't remember the last time AMD had an imbalance that was even remotely interesting. Looks like Funware is starting to give it up. DJT, by the way, that breakout will have to wait another day. 350. Even if it takes out that top, it'll probably be right at the end of the day, maybe after the close. But DJT, it's a breakout on the daily. That's why we keep talking about it. Like, what are you going to do? It's $13 to $34 in a couple of weeks, and now you have a double top breakout on it. But Funware, predictably, in sympathy, when DJT stopped going, this one really stopped going, and now back underneath $12. It's losing VWAP with only a minute to go to the imbalances, though. I don't see another trade in this. I think it needed to have DJT break that top and then get that obvious rejection, because that's the only reason was a trade here is because DJT failed that high. Outside of that, nothing doing for me on Funware till tomorrow, when we'll try the same thing, is use DJT as the lead and Funware is the follow.
I want to say thank you, everybody. Go follow me at TraderTV. Sean, go follow at TraderTV.live as well on Instagram. I want to thank everybody. This has been really well received, man. These are our #1 watched reels and all that, these questions. We're going to be doing another one tomorrow with Andre and myself. So if you have any sort of issues or questions you want to ask us, go over to at TraderTV, Sean, at TraderTV.live. Post it right now. All about stocks, man. There she is. Oh, my God. Hey, what's up, Adam? There's Adam DeLuz. What's up, Adam? This is when we met each other for the first time there back in London. Okay, it's 3:50 right now. Let's find out what's going on. There goes TQQs. Let's go. Money, money, money right now. 40 handles in the...
Money.
That's right. All right, and here come the imbalances. Let's just have a quick little look to see what is happening with these right now. All right, so DNB, Ford, NVIDIA with a sell. So NVIDIA coming back down in right now. We'll see if SMCI can follow. We're almost stopped out of SMCI. It sucks to take this maybe 10-cent hit here, but we'll wait to see if that gets going there. Amazon with a sell as well. Peloton had that news earlier with Costco. What is Peloton doing today? Flattish. Okay. Really like PayPal. What's PayPal on the day, pal? What's up, pal? 52%, 0.5%. Right now, Microsoft with a sell. So Microsoft led the way today to the upside as well, up another 2.5% today. Microsoft, the new chosen one, off of the 200 period. Moving out. What up, babe?
Keep an eye here on Amazon and DoorDash, AMZ and DASH. Both companies actually are reporting next week. We also have CNBC reporting that Amazon is shutting down one of its services, which offers same-day deliveries from malls and brick-and-mortar retailers. This service was called Amazon Today. Basically, apparently, they've now stopped any new developments, and they're actually beginning to wind it down. So keep an eye on DASH, which also does a lot of deliveries with regards to that catalyst. A little bit of a volume pop for DASH, though that could be related to the imbalances as well. But keep an eye here at DASH, AMZN, after CNBC reporting Amazon shuttering one of its delivery services for brick-and-mortar stores, guys.
That spike wasn't in balance that I saw on DoorDash. I'm thinking it's got to be related to that story. Amazon's not going to necessarily move a lot on that, but DoorDash did make a pullback, about $0.50 in there on Dash. But with that sell and bounce on NVIDIA, the trailing stop came out. Like whether it came out a buy or a sell, it's kind of a coin flip at that point. So played off of VWAP the first time, no good. The second time, it played off VWAP at the 30s into the 80s, and then back out in front of 50s. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but for at least now, NVIDIA does close underneath that 144. So the prior high close, 143.71 on a closing basis. That's the all-time high for NVIDIA. So yes, while the all-time high is above 144, it traded a bunch up there today. It is going to close, barring a change in 7 minutes, underneath an all-time high. But that also does set it up to consolidate one step higher. It did it yesterday. It gave another consolidation day in here today. So you can always make another breakout. That's the thing about stair-stepping to the upside. Sometimes it's better if it goes in stages because then you can trade it over and over and over again. Shout out to David. Appreciate the super chat once again. Another one in here. Your initials are DJT. You love Walmart and WM and maybe a little cabin by Whistler to escape San Diego weather. What's wrong with the San Diego weather? I feel like you'd want to escape the Whistler weather to go to San Diego. If you're into skiing, you want to go up to Whistler. But Walmart, absolutely fantastic. I did mention there was a small story on Walmart this afternoon about a settlement. It did make a fresh high, but ultimately it was going up regardless. And sometimes when they pay a small amount for any kind of a settlement, that's a good thing because they can pay that with the chump change. Love Walmart. I believe we have Costco. Costco was an upgrade, I do believe, but Walmart just made another fresh 52-week high in today, continuing its breakout. Love them. They're the retail play that I have in my long term. I don't really do anything except hold on to it and look for places to buy. That 50 period probably going to come into play. Once again, appreciate that super chat there, David, and best of luck for the rest of your day. Here, with only about 5 minutes to go, I'll keep an eye on that DNB. Feels like it's a bit of a nothing burger, but it's the only thing with a significant imbalance. It did move slightly, but it's really just like a 10-cent range. 900,000 volume, and it's still indicating 1.4 million to sell. It hasn't even done that on the entire day, and more than half of it is not even paired off. So if this were to stay after 355 and not pair off, or maybe even get bigger, could be a little something on this DNB.
All right, so the only winning trade this afternoon, I think anyways, I'm not sure if there was one. I know we were in and out of SMCI and NVIDIA there for a minute. But the TQs right here is going to be a big one. It's 50 handles. This is the only trade that I made since we were coming back on. We had this trade right there. So, I mean, that's huge, right? 75.17, 75 flat, all the way up, 75.07, all the way up to where we are now, 60 plus handles in the money. The other trade that we had was SMCI, where we made some and now just stopped out for flat there. So this afternoon, let's go. Big one alert there. And then, of course, holding on to Apple right now, which this is going to be, like we said, as if we were predicting this from the jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's only 350 right now. As we get up to 236, up there into the day's high. Again, if you're looking for trade ideas, man, we're back here tomorrow, and we should be able to come up with some more there. And if you're going to follow somebody at Trader TV Sean for the sticky note there, we have most of these trades written on there. And I've only traded, and we say this all the time, different styles, right? I mean, I've traded 1, 2, 3, 4 names today. Neil can tell you how many he's traded. Sharif, I think a little bit more than that as well. So just very, very specific on what we're doing. And again, today, because of that, is going to be another trophy day. I feel like I'm so much better and focused when we look at certain specific names. So we're going to keep on doing that and following what we're doing. Instead of jumping around from spot to spot, we're going to find the best opportunities and put in the best amount there available to that. A new style for myself, and it's been paying off. And everybody, of course, will be able to do what they feel is best for them. And I just think, for me, that's what it is. And again, you have to do your own work over and over again. Look at SoFi. I mean, it's frustrating because we'll take an L on this one. It sucks that it's above where we first got into it. But again, to lose on SoFi, 20% of what we made there on Apple, it's pretty good. And then also with the TQQs coming in right now, this goes to a big opportunity for me as well today. So we'll continue to look at that. You got to be focused, and I mean that's exactly right, Chaz Desk and everybody like that. You got to stay on the right things. And I feel like I'm always going to miss every day. I'm going to miss opportunities. That's just what it is. I mean, we wrote down DJT at $30. I mean, where did it go? Went to 31.50. But again, if you're focused on DJT this whole time, then there's money to be made right here. All day, you could have been buying this VWAP and it would have worked out perfectly fine and you could be absolutely crushing it. That's the benefit of real trading. That's the benefit of Trader TV Live. That's why we have many different traders on here doing different things, looking for different things. Find out what works for you and do you the best you possibly can. We are finishing the day right now at our highest spot we've been at all day. And I mean, part of that, of course, is what's been happening to the futures and what happened to Apple. I mean, Apple's so huge right now. I don't even have an offer. I'm just going to put an offer out right now and get out of this one on AAPL. Up to 236 from 233. This was a good one, man. Some of my best trades this month have been Apple, so I feel like we need to stay there on Apple. We'll be on SoFi again tomorrow as well with only 2 minutes to go. SoFi, a great stock today. Early, was not really much late. Now we're breaking out, but it was very, very dead. We actually talked about it barcoding for a minute in there as well. So there's our early take. It was written. We can't just keep talking about the sticky note and not talk about having it the wrong way. We were long there. And we talked about it, 13-cent hit, bought it back, and then look where we closed. So again, patience rules the day every single time, I feel like.
Yeah, I 100% agree with it. And again, like two different styles. I got to get to the super chat because we only have 2 minutes to go, Nick Dubs, and I want to make sure we address it for you here. But I haven't looked at FSM, but I was looking at it just now on the daily chart. It does look like a potential breaker in here. You just wanted your thoughts here. We love the super chats, and we appreciate all of our viewers in there. With only 2 minutes to go, FSM, just going to show you on my trade ideas. I mean, ultimately, we like something that's going to have a decent short flow. It's only 4%, but it's a couple of days to cover. And on the daily, it is a breakout on the daily chart into a decent overhead resistance. But what's more interesting to me on the daily is moving averages matter when they actually matter on the stock. And this stock is respecting the 200 period moving average very, very well. It respected the 50 in the other direction, and now it's holding the 50. So it's got a great base to work off on the daily chart. That's the thing I'd be looking at. Companies that I like, I love that 200 period moving average. If it gets respected, that ends up being a buy spot for me. So I think if it loses that on like a weekly basis, like it closes the week underneath that, I think it's in trouble. And that's what it's basically telling you on that chart. So with only less than 1 minute to go, DJT is actually going to break that high. Looks like right at the end of the day. But oddly enough, it's not dragging Funware with it. I looked up, DJT's at the high. Funware back underneath VWAP. It is a bit dead. It's DJT that seems to want to make that fresh high. It's not an all-time high. It's just a high on the daily chart with only about 40 seconds to go in here. I'm just going to keep an eyeball on this one. Curious to see if it makes some kind of a parabolic mover. It's not as if you have anything too nuts going on in the aftermarket today in terms of earnings. But let's get the countdown on because we got less than 10 seconds to go on the day as Adara makes a mad dash to be able to ring the bell. Let's do it in 2 and 1. A little bit delayed on my button there. But yeah, market close now. The mad dash, thank you very much, Adara, for getting to that. It has been a wild one, but the market's pretty much flat on the day.
We'll exit that trade right there for the big winner, again, of the day. It's over $3 right there on Apple. So we'll do a little bit of a face slapper on that one as it continues to go higher there into the close and we get out. I just want to show everybody 236.05. Okay, Texas Instruments coming through. I'm going to head over to the main desk right now and figure out what exactly is going on with Texas Instruments. 195, we're expecting a 5% move on that. We also have Enphase coming through now as well. So we'll give it a go and head over there. We'll see everybody tomorrow. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. Get ready to rock and roll with us tomorrow at 8:30. Market recap show on way.
Yes, sir. And TXN, someone might have fat-fingered something in there. The numbers are not out. I have the news service up here. There was a big spike up and down about $1.50 here on TXN, but the numbers aren't out yet for Texas Instruments. There is a little bit of, now they've got to be out. TXN just dropped $8 in one shot, as you just saw there, right away. Now 185, 4% to the downside. Still haven't seen anything across the wire, but TXN is out, and it looks like they're headed to the downside. I mean, assuming the numbers out based on the volume spike that we just got in there. So let's head on over. Sean just got up to the desk. Big shout out to everybody. Great show today, but it's not over just yet. We have earnings on Texas Instruments after the bell. Your market recap starts now.
So much, Neil. Welcome, Adair. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. A British man is telling me about TXN earnings in my ear. How are you?
Not too bad. Texas Instruments is now out, so we can see this earnings report coming through. Adara, we'll have the numbers for you in just a minute. It is down. Come over to the screen quickly. Right here, if we can. Texas Instruments right now down 5%. The expected move was around 5%. Here comes the move in. Look at a daily chart now for Texas Instruments. Look, it's been producing all year. Now breaking below the 50-period moving average. Adara, what do we got? So, again, I'm still waiting to see the actual earnings. This British man is giving me a lot of numbers right now. I will say we did have a beat here on earnings per share. That I did hear, though I did not hear the numbers. All I know is we beat the estimates of 137 or 136, depending on who you're looking at. We also, though, the big thing with TXN is they had way lower than expected guidance here for their sales for Q4. So I think they guided, from what I was hearing here, $3.75 billion to $4 billion. Analysts were looking for $4.08 billion for Q4 guidance. I have the numbers here, guys. I'll put them up on my screen. So now I actually have the physical numbers instead of just having to listen to them. TXN here, Q3 earnings per share, $1.47 versus $1.37 expected. Sales of $1.15 billion versus estimates of $4.12 billion. So we did miss on sales, and we know they guided lower than expected for Q4 sales as well. All right, Ms. Adara, thank you so much for all of that. It's great to have Adara back because we can sort of look at the chat, talk about what stocks are coming out, and still figure this all out with you. Seagate coming out right now, expecting to adjust $1.46 per share on STX. So we'll see Seagate coming through right now. Look at this stock just performing really well again. An ADR located in Ireland. Shout out to my Irish fans out there right now. Not St. Patrick's Day yet, or is it St. Patrick's Day every day? It seems like sometimes. Okay, GLD, we talked about that. Gold continues to run today. Both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ recovered today. We did have a nice downside move, but gold continues to make moves higher. Look at the SPY, though. The SPY ending the day basically flat, but it did start the day, again, if we're going to look where we started, down near the lows of 580, basically closing at the top of the day. It is the SPY, the spiders right there coming through as well. So again, Adair's here. We're going to have all the news coming through for you. What we're looking for STX. We're looking for N-phase, ENPH, N-phase coming out very, very soon.
Yeah.
Looks like we will get that number very soon. A fat finger all the way up to $93. N-phase, a beat up name. The good thing about this name, of course, is we do have a short float on N-phase that we have to deal with right here. Where's the percentage short? There it is, 10.6% short on this one with a market cap of 12 billion, days to cover 4.5. If N-phase comes out with a good number, this name will blast. And then STX, again, N-phase expecting a 11.5% move. Seagate Technologies expecting right now a 7% move. We'll wait to see when that one comes out. Maybe it's out right now. Seagate STX maybe out. We'll wait to see when that comes. We have Adair here going to give it to us. Again, Texas Instruments right now, $1.47 beating $1.37, but missing on sales.
Yes.
So not a great look there. We'll find out more about Seagate's out right now. We'll get those numbers in a minute. But Texas Instruments, we wait for the guide. I don't really care about what's already happened. I love the chip space. We talked about that. Texas Instruments is going to be legit. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Texas Instruments, no matter where it goes. We'll find out about the guide. There goes Seagate right now. Seagate right here failing.
TSM guide was bad. That's why they went down.
Okay, good one. TSM guide bad. So we kind of figured on that one. Here comes STX. Interrupt me when you have the numbers.
I do not.
Do not have them yet.
I don't have them in my ear and I don't have them in front of me.
Okay, perfect. Seagate right now, downside into 107, printing lower right now. Starbucks coming out with results right now for some reason.
They should not be.
Starbucks is not due right now. But here comes Starbucks. I don't know what they're doing.
Preliminary results for Starbucks.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this for Starbucks, but right now here comes preliminary results for Starbucks.
They're bad.
And Starbucks is going to the downside. Get your matcha lattes while you can. Starbucks right now, downside move. Maybe they'll go on sale, Adara. We get some 2-for-1 matchas right here. But there it's down right now. Preliminary results coming out for Starbucks, down right now 5%. What does it look like go ahead.
Sorry, I will give you guys Starbucks, but I can give you Enphase and Seagate because I got them both at this
Let's go Seagate.
STX,
yep.
They're NASDAQ, right? Okay, I just want to get the chart up.
Yep.
Perfect, they are. So they're down about 3.5% right now. This is actually Q1 2025 for them, so I'll get you guys those results here. Q1 2025 earnings of $1.58 per share, beating $1.46 expected. Sales also a beat, 2.17 versus 2.119 billion expected there for sales. Now, what about Enphase? Bad. So they had earnings of 65 cents per share. Analysts were looking for 77 cents per share. They also had sales here of 380.9 mil. Analysts were looking for 391.97 mil. So pretty substantial EPS and sales misses here for EMPH. Though they're down about 1.5% right now. If I see anything more with regards to guidance for either of these companies, I will take a look. Let me parse through that Starbucks report really quickly, and then I'll get back to you guys with that.
Yeah, good look there on Starbucks. Starbucks is getting hit right here, and it's pretty good, but it's bouncing right now. I don't know why they did this. I mean, again, we know that we have Brian Nickel over there trying to do things a little bit differently. Comes out with this report here, preliminary report for Starbucks. Adara will get the numbers and figure out what exactly is going on. Let's flip over to the chart.
All I read was declined, which is not good. So let's keep reading.
Yeah, exactly. So down at 5 and a bit percentage points right now for Starbucks. Down in there, too many overpriced lattes, people in the chat are saying that. What's up, Jay Lee? Right there. Okay, Enphase, ENPH. MCD, McDonald's, I'm loving it. Got to get my girl Ramin over there. A Diet Coke, baby. All right, there it comes, $86, heading to the downside right now. There goes Enphase. Adara had that report. Weaker than expected. The short float winning right now. You can see Enphase with the push down. Remember, 12% expected move on ENPH. Looks like we're getting less than that, but still a move down. What does it look like on the daily? I believe we are now, trying to hold out for that $81 a dare. You got something else?
I have Starbucks. Yeah, this report is yuck. Or pre-report, sorry. Preliminary, they actually report next week. But SPUX here actually increasing their quarterly cash dividend apparently for the 14th year in a row. Right now going from 57 cents to 61 cents. Now, how about these preliminary sales? So global comparable store sales declined by 7% apparently for Q4 2024, again preliminarily. Consolidated net revenue is dropping by 3%, which is also a 3% decline on a constant currency basis. GAAP earnings per share, though, this is really rough, down 25% year over year. Sorry, I don't have a larger version of this. I'm only seeing the tiny print, so I'm just reading it out for you guys. Oh, I just got a larger version. Thank you to Benzinga. So Q4 comparable store sales declined by 7%. Net revenues here down 3%. Non-GAAP EPS down 25%, and GAAP and non-GAAP both down about 25% here. 6% decline in U.S. comparable store sales and 10% decline in overall comparable interactions. I'm not seeing any inclines. I'm only seeing declines.
All right, thanks for that little review there. And again, it's kind of disappointing when you get these reports out of nowhere, and then you're like, what just happened? I do have some disappointing news. We will not be having Brian Shannon with us today, so no calculations about anchored VWAP. Hey, no, that's fine. I was going to do this one too, the calculations. We can do anchored VWAP. We'll have Brian Shannon come on here. He's a busy guy. We want to thank you for Brian for always coming in, and I do want to thank Adara for staying late. She's going to be with us forever now, Adara, on the after show. So there we go. We like that one as well. Okay, you know what? A little disappointed today with uranium. This has been a really hot sector lately. I mean, disappointed today, fine. We're down 1.5%. But we didn't really get the follow through from NNE. We didn't really get anything from SMR. Still nicely to the upside. And remember, I think this is a complete shift again. We talked about buying URA down here at $25. Michael Noss always gives us credit for that, but I'm not long it. So that kind of sucks. We should have pulled the trigger down there at $25. Instead, we got this one at 12. We have SMR, small modular reactors, great name for a company that, of course, is NuScale. And that one, nice little upside move here. And if you're going to, right? If you're going to drop a anchored VWAP on this one, we'll go to the most recent bottom, and we see where we're going right there, 14.23, as we honor Brian Shannon right there by dropping an anchor on the most recent bottom of NuScale, bring us all the way here. We're long in all of this mess right there, and then we get the news. Why are we long again? Because of Amazon, because of Google, because of Microsoft. They're all investing in different power source alternatives in order to power what we know is the next generation of technology, AI, robots, all of that kind of stuff coming through, robotics in general, and Internet of Things. You know, Internet of Things?
IoT.
Yeah, exactly. So we like that
the
one.
Samsara ticker.
Yeah, that was the one, that poor Raider trader. Raider trader's coming here, you know that?
Is he?
Yeah.
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Raider trader will be in the building in less than 1 week.
For real? Like for real? Oh, as we say it on live TV. Nice.
Traders stay late. Traders get early tidbits there. No whispering. That's too much of that ASMR stuff, whatever that is. I don't think people like all of a sudden do more of that. Okay, so here we go, man. Back to the goods here. Look, we put something out today. I mean, today's big movers, of course, if we're going to talk about politics, we're not doing it on purpose to give you guys an edge one way or the other. We're Canadian. We don't have a vote in this. But look at DJT. I mean, I'm going to say bang for this one because anybody that has been following the polls, which is why I'm always showing them, it is now favoring exactly in my ear right now, McDonald's falling back down in. We talked about this with Starbucks. We knew McDonald's, if Starbucks is going to have a global hit, so will McDonald's, so will Second Cup. If you're trading Second Cup, you know there's a symbol in Toronto, Second Cup?
I did not.
That is Canada's version of Starbucks. I don't mind it though.
I don't mind it. My grandfather
their flavored coffee is
half shares or something growing up. He owned some kind of percentage
of
Second Cup. Yeah.
Oh, then bang! I love Second Cup then.
Yeah, I grew up going because of that.
Oh, so, wow.
I didn't go to Starbucks till I was like 13.
ASMR is a great 21 Savage song. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, I wrote it, so I can't.
Oh, you wrote it?
Yeah. It is it's a dope 21 Savage song. It's weird. I don't know why he's whispering, but I like that he's whispering. If you haven't heard that one, check it out.
I just knew that you're a 21 Savage fan, and I read it in there. I was like, I'm gonna talk to her again. Rivian Millionaire, will Radar Trader's legs be available? We'll see next time. I mean, I'm just glad he was wearing pants that last time that we had him on. But let's get back to this right now. DJT is at the 200 period moving average. I don't think in this situation it's going to really matter that much. This is clearly not going to be trading on technicals. We talked about it today. I love this 34 area. There's been some consolidation there. Now we break higher. I think DJT continues to climb. Position this year. Go ahead.
Starbucks suspending its 2025 guidance.
Right. Oh, guidance.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I actually like that. I think that is good for Starbucks to do that. Why do you need to guide all the time? You do not need to do that. Let's wait to find out. They're going to suspend it. Fine. Let's just see the goods. Let's see the numbers. This is definitely a Brian Nickel thing. We'll figure out why they're doing this. I'm expecting a press conference. Maybe he'll be on another show. Maybe he'll be on Trader TV Live tomorrow, and we'll ask Brian Nickel all about what's up with Starbucks as he leaves Chipotle to come over. Look at Chipotle as well. Some of the restaurant names getting hit right now. $60 down to $59. It was It's going down. McDonald's. Wow, McDonald's.
McDonald's, I'm seeing some news. This is only over Twitter. I am not seeing it yet on Benzinger, any source. But apparently I'm seeing talk of E. coli outbreak. Again, talk of E. coli outbreak. Completely unconfirmed. If I see confirmation, either way, I will let you know. But right now we're tweeting about a quote, talk of E. coli outbreak.
Does this affect Diet Coke? No, I don't think this affects Diet Coke. A happy birthday to Ramin again. Let's not stop the happy birthday talk here with Ramin as well. Okay. All right, let's go. A lot of clapping there, but I like that.
I got excited.
Yeah, that was very good.
Your birthday? Not going to clap for her birthday, so.
Sharif. That guy Sharif.
Would you ask about my?
No, we just had your birthday, didn't we? Or no?
We're having my birthday in like 2 months.
Oh, in 2 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That'll be a celebration.
It will.
Celebration. Neil as well. You're December?
I'm January 1st.
Ooh, a New Year's baby. I was actually hanging out with someone yesterday that's birthday was January 1st.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Small world.
Don't
they say something like one in every, like, if you're in a room with somebody, the chances of that, like 30 people or something?
Weird. I don't know.
There's some sort of a really weird stat.
That's interesting.
About that. Do you know what the #1 sector is this year in the S&P 500?
Financials. No. Actually?
Ding, it is the financials right there. And there it goes right there to the upside. XLF continues to rock. We'll see, what is this up this year so far? 25% right now. The financials are up this year. All right, let's have a quick look at our stock health right now, just to give a quick look to see what's been happening here in the broader market. So again, today, kind of an interesting day, was relatively flat early, down to flat. Then we got going near the end of the day, sending the NASDAQ slightly to the upside, S&P slightly to the downside, a relatively flat day all in all. But look what happened here. It is softy to the upside. Microsoft saves the day. How bad would have the S&P been or the NASDAQ been had not be for one of the largest constituents right there, Microsoft today, up that 2%. Meta 1%. Google 0.5%. Look at the financials, JP Morgan. Come on, Warren Buffett. I just recently bought some Berkshire. What's up with that? You know what I'm really impressed with? The retail sector today. As you can see, Walmart and Costco holding fort there one more time today. So that's going to be a good one to see for that sector. Oil today, let's have a quick look to see what's going on with USO as well. And today, USO. XLU, utilities to the downside. Why don't I see USO on here? Okay, hold on a second. Maybe not a big mover. Okay. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Where's oil on here? Man, it's supposed to be on here. Up 2.4%. USO continues to climb. There was actually another trade ideas window that I want to talk about right here. Here it is right here. This is by sector watch. So as you can see right here, if you're going to look for different sectors, now this is going to have to be a zoom in, but make sure you scan that QR code or click on the link in the description to get your trade ideas. It's Trader TV 20. You can get 20% off. This is actually a really cool little display. I don't know if we can maybe make this full screen, Ramin, my screen if possible. Can you even get rid of me or no? That's not possible. Give everybody what they want. Get me off the screen ASAP. No, but I'm just trying to make this a little bit bigger. And the reason why is because you can just quickly, like, here's consumer staples. So right here, what I'm trying to show is this. So you can see here, PM, Philip Morris up 10% today, right? So as you can dig in and find out what was weak, including Monster Beverage right here. So you can really dig in and find out which names are moving, which sector, because often, as I know you sit here on the desk and you're looking for different news stories. So like here's GM, consumer discretionary, big mover today, led by General Motors, up that nearly 10%. Neil had a great trade on this one today, breaking through 51. Surprised I didn't have that. We mentioned that. We like the breakouts on what?
So
earnings.
Earnings.
and catalysts is what I was looking for there as well. So I think, Adair, the best way to build a watch list, the best way to build up your trade ideas is by digging into something like what we're showing right now, where you pick a sector, you get a favored direction, and then you find the names within that sector that have the catalysts that favor your opinion.
Yes.
So if you're looking short today, you should not be looking at General Motors because they had a better than expected report and they were breaking out to the upside. But if you were looking maybe on the red side of things today, you'd have looked at maybe an SMCI being down 4%, things like that, that start the day red. You want to see if there is a pullback and a follow through on that. Okay, let's just have a quick look again at some of the earnings that have come through here. So we'll go back over to Seagate here right now. If you want to, Adair, we can quickly review some of these numbers. So there's Seagate right now, down 3% and really calmed down a little bit right now. We had Starbucks with preliminary numbers coming out. For me, the best thing that I heard is that they're not going to give guidance anymore. I don't necessarily think...
for now, we're suspending it.
Right, for 2025, they could bring that back. I'm not sure if that is a good thing. I kind of like it, so we're not as focused. We're more focused on what the future direction is, not necessarily what the numbers are going to be moving forward. Let's see them get that coffee shop back to a social shop. That's what they need to do. Get rid of some of those independently owned locations. That's what I've been reading. That's Starbucks. Enphase was the other way around. Enphase today, bad report. We'll get those numbers in a minute from Adara, but Enphase right now down that 7%. The push and pull continues, mainly pulling lower on Enphase. It's been real bad, man. Bless you. Really bad to the downside right now. That is funny. I am hearing this right now. Do you have this in your ear as well, Benzinga?
Oh, I have someone else in my ear.
Okay, what is your favorite burger to eat at McDonald's?
It's a child's cheeseburger.
Not what I was expecting. It is the quarter pounder right now that has the breakout in E. coli.
The fromage with cheese.
The fromage with cheese, yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was
Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese.
Yeah, that was our best. Yeah, but the fromage line is in there.
That was cheese.
That is the that was my favorite Halloween ever when we dressed up as those guys from Pulp Fiction there as we go. And we have an interesting Halloween coming for everybody in just a matter of days. What's up to Kyle Burdett? Yeah, it's not the fillet of fish right now. You like the fillet of fish?
I had it once. I did enjoy it. I will say I enjoyed it. I just
only had it once,
my teeny tiny iron, like my little baby burger, get your iron boost. Get out.
You know what? The thing about McDonald's is, regardless of what burger you like, this stock has been super hot fire, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to report October 29, so that's coming out in just a couple days right now as well. They are up only 6% since January 1st. Oh, yeah, because they had this dip down in as well. Yeah, look at this in July there. As again, Starbucks got hit to the downside. We talked about all of this. A lot of these names, Chipotle hit some lows as well. The restaurant business has definitely had a makeover here to the upside. A lot of that was sparked by, again, dollar coffees, I know for sure here in Canada has made a big difference, I feel like. And then also their dollar value menu. You can now finally get a combo for like $5.50 or something. I think it's your junior chicken or something like that. But anyways, McDonald's revamping their lineup. But let's go over, tell me what Enphase was all about there, Adara, because Enphase seems to have the biggest mover reaction.
May I start with STX because I already have it up? I have the earnings.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Also, thank you as well for your advice on the stock picking and how to build a watch list. Really appreciate all that knowledge, as I know it does in the chat. STX, though, Seagate breaking below this gate of the level it was trading at. So down about 3.5%, despite a generally pretty strong report, though, as you guys always say, it's not good or bad earnings, it's how the market reacts. Earnings of $1.58 per share, above estimates of $1.46. Sales at $2.17 billion versus estimates of $2.119 billion. $2.119 billion. So beating across the board. Their guidance also pretty strong here. So earnings, they're seeing Q2 2024 earnings of $1.85 per share, plus or minus 20 cents, versus estimates of $1.48. So at the low end, they're seeing $1.65. That's definitely a beat here. Revenue also a beat. $2.3 billion is what they're seeing for Q2 2024 revenue, plus or minus $150 million. The estimates here of $2.134 billion. So that is honestly great guidance here. Really strong report for STX. Now let's talk about Enphase because, ouch. Enphase beat, or they missed across the board, sorry, whereas we had STX beating across the board there. So phase coming out here. Oh, we did get some of their guidance as well now. So Q3 2024 adjusted earnings of 65 cents per share versus estimates of 77 cents. Sales at 380.9 million versus estimates of 391.9 million. They're guiding Q4 revenue between 360 and 400 million dollars, and their non-GAAP gross margin here, they're seeing they're guiding for the next quarter of 49% to 52%. You want to do TXN as well?
Oh, you're the host. Yeah, I think go.
I don't know, but we're doing TXN.
Go nuts, yeah.
TXN recovering nicely. They did beat for EPS, but they missed on sales, and their guidance was a little lackluster. So let's go over that. They did have Q3 earnings per share of $1.47, above estimates of 137. Sales, though, 4.15 billion versus estimates of 4.12 billion. Guidance missing here for both EPS and for revenue for 2024. Though their individual segments, they actually did beat all of their sales expectations, though the overall sales number was a miss.
Just looking up here, I want to give a couple shout out to a couple of lower float stocks today and names that maybe we don't talk about enough. I mean, what's the chances of Rumble being talked about again as well? Yeah, Rumble, young man, Rumble in the jungle, as it going to the upside today. Nice move, up 4.28%. But the thing about Rumble is, if you come over to the chart, this could be one of those little hidden stocks here, because again, we have Joe Rogan experience. I don't know if that's happening tonight. I don't know when that's happening.
They're reportedly, according to Politico, recording on Friday.
Ooh, on Friday. Okay, so stay tuned for that. And what we're talking about is former President Donald Trump going on, apparently has been invited to, or I'm not sure if that's been official yet, announced or truthed out on Truth Social yet, but apparently going on the Joe Rogan experience. So we'll look for Spotify. I don't think it necessarily moves the dial for that stock specifically, but it should move stocks like, I mean, this is why I'm talking about Rumble and things like that. I mean, this name is yet to go. And the reason why I bring that up is because we also see another move in another related stock, Funware, making the move to the upside as well on some of this talk. So just a couple names there to keep an eye out, even for tomorrow. Rumble's short float is about 20. Yeah, there it is right there. 1998, it's on sale. 1998 percentage points there with days to cover 8. So that's big, right? Remember that. There it is, linked to McDonald's. And it's funny because Trump was flipping fries over the weekend.
Yeah.
Over there at McDonald's on purpose. Of course, he went there to show he's a man of the people, I guess. And of course, then just a matter of days later, like, it's just so funny how these stories happen. Wow.
I have more details on that case too, actually.
Okay.
That I can go
yeah.
over.
First of all, where is this? Do you have details on?
It's across 10 states.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Northwestern or what?
So there was the fatality in Colorado. That's where I know there was, unfortunately, one death.
A fatality.
There were 10, apparently 10 people hospitalized. Not sure where they were hospitalized. It was one, quote, older person in Colorado who has unfortunately passed, and that was linked to what happened here. McDonald's apparently temporarily removing suspect ingredients. That is a quote. I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not sure which ingredients they're referring to.
Maybe they should permanently remove those ingredients.
This is the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, actually linking these cases to the quarter pounders. Again, 49 cases, 10 states, 10 people in hospital, 1 fatality.
What's up, Piper? Yeah, look, I mean, not to throw, I mean, it's not fun whenever we get the fatality stuff there. I didn't realize that had happened, but at the end of the day, McDonald's definitely getting smacked there. You're not loving it if you're long right now on McDonald's, because you've now broken in between, but look where we're landing, right in between the 50 period and the 200 period right there. Once again, Adara, it's happy birthday to Ramin one more time right there. We say happy birthday to Ramin because it's only her birthday today, but then not tomorrow. So we have to say it today.
It's going to be today.
Happy birthday, Ramin right there. Yeah, CDC says, what's up, Kyle? Yeah, wear a mask while you're eating those hamburgers. That may not help you out too much there. You know, nice to see China battle back today if you are an investor. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that have been playing the breakout here in FXI. Today, we don't get too many China news there. We had PDD with a nice upside move today as well as they introduced a new platform. So we'll wait to see what happens here. But $30 breakout on FXI, still holding. If you're long, I've said this to a couple traders around here. I always look at the 50 period, so that's $29. So if it falls back into that area, still all right. I've unloaded some Alibaba. I'm debating right here at this $100 mark. Maybe get back in, man. We got out at 117.50. We were pretty lucky to get out of half. We could reload it. I don't know. I feel like there's very many good opportunities in this market. In Adara, we saw a big one today. Bang. Right here. Only 2 minutes left. Where'd the time go?
I know. It flew. Time flies. We had so many news stories this afternoon, Sean. We had Starbucks.
It's not going to stop. I
spring
mean,
earnings. Like,
man, we didn't even review Starbucks again right there. But look at McDonald's. Oops. What's that? It's not 4:30.
For me, it's like it's my
her
birthday.
Yeah,
I make the time.
She's like, let's get the heck out of here. We be clubbing? Okay, so all right. So anyways, what I want to get at right here was McDonald's. McDonald's is another one of these names here that has reached its 200 period moving average. These are great buy opportunities. I think that if you are a longer term investor, this is when you want to pick up good quality companies at these levels and you just take a shot. And I think Microsoft did get that move and that bump up today because I don't think we really had a story for this. We might have had a small one early. I don't remember.
We had like a teeny case. So Microsoft, OpenAI, and some other group, I believe called Lens something, they're working, apparently collectively investing $10 million for this fellowship program for Metro News. But $10 million for Microsoft is like, honestly, probably for most of us, like a $5 bill, maybe even less. So I figured that's not what's moving it, but I couldn't find a story. OpenAI later in the day announced that they've added some people to their C-suite, but that was like by the midday. That was way after this MSFT move happened.
I want to thank absolutely everybody for staying with us, man. It's 2,200 of you stay late. And we only have less than 2 minutes. And Silky Smooth there says, can Sean finish in 2 minutes? Depends who you ask, but I could definitely finish this show in under 2 minutes. We only have a minute left, which means what?
Roll call.
There we go. It's roll call time. I just want to say something to everybody in the chat here because I want to give a big shout out to Adara who's joining us one more time and adding color, adding some fun, adding everything to the after show. So thank you so much to Adara. And everybody in the chat is saying how much they're loving this show. I'm sure there's just as much love for all of us here on the recap show. Now, thank you and Neil for picking this up as we go. So there it is. What's up, Smilky Smooth? What's up, Rafa's here? Bears versus Bulls, the best right there. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Bob W is in there with a little firecracker, a little dynamite there. Brandon says hi. Hi, Brandon. How are you? Patik is here as well. SoFi. Hey, man, SoFi, I messed that up today. I apologize. I'll be back on SoFi tomorrow. Still not a bad name. We end up the day relatively down on it, but we'll be back for SoFi. I'm coming for you. All right, on to blockchains. What's up? There he is, the X. He says, damn, Sean, sister girl from another mother something. Howdy, they say. What's up to Jeremy, Travis, Freddie Fulcrum? What's up, my guy? Buy the drip. All right, CompuCare's here. Toden Bates is here. John Rodriguez, Volky, Yoshi. John Rodriguez, CompuCare. JD Roarin, KNT, why not? Adara, big shout out to her as well. Success is inevitable. Ludo Kid as well. And of course, Kyle Burdett and everybody else. What a good show. What a good day it was today. It's 4:31. Happy birthday to Ramin. Thank you so much, Adara, for joining us. Thank you to Neil, Sharif, Mr. Joseph on the Midday Show, Fabian that's around, Andre that's been here. Thanks to Mark, Rob, Randy, everybody that's responsible for this show, all in all. All right, Adara, wrap this thing up.
We're going to see you guys tomorrow, so I'm going to be back here. Thank you, Sean, and everybody for having me back. But you know what? There's even more earnings. We have Boeing tomorrow morning, so we're going to have to get going because we got Boeing tomorrow morning.
Perfect.
We have Tesla tomorrow night.
Perfect.
So, get your Coca-Cola ready for tomorrow earnings. We'll see you guys then. Ciao.
Ciao. All right.